Apocalypse mobile phone system. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101 Survivors? Don't hide, I'm watching you. Xiao Yao patted the quilt again. The person under the quilt moved slightly. I always feel that something is wrong. Because the person underneath was covered with a quilt, Xiao Yao couldn't get the other person's name from the detection glasses for a while. This must be a pig, asleep? I'm going to lift the quilt, Xiao Yao said, pulling a corner of the quilt and gently pulling it off. Zombie race, undead level. 4 combat power. 70 life. 580 inches. Oh my god. The moment the zombie showed his head, Xiao Yao was almost scared to pee, and took a step back instantly. He saw that under the quilt was a zombie wearing a mask and headphones. The information given by the detection glasses in time made Xiao Yao sure that this was not a survivor, but a zombie. Zombies are listening to music? It's really strange. Wearing headphones under a quilt and a transparent mask, Xiao Yao didn't react for a while. Roar. The zombie smelled the breath of a living person, turned its head, and saw beating hard in front of it. It roared excitedly and stood up to grab Xiao Yao. If I had known you were a zombie, I would have hacked you to death through the quilt. Xiao Yao quickly covered the zombie with a quilt. The zombie fumbled under the quilt, but it seemed that its IQ was not online and it could not find a way to lift the quilt. I'll hack. Xiao Yao took advantage of the zombie being covered with a quilt and hacked at the zombie covered with a quilt. The quilt was made of cotton. After a while, the cotton flew everywhere. Not long after, there was no sound under the quilt. The zombie under the quilt was hacked to pieces, and pus and blood mixed with internal organs stained the cotton of the quilt dark red. Experience plus 58, money plus 58. After chopping for a while, Xiao Yao was tired and quiet under the quilt. Seeing the experience and money prompts appearing in his vision, Xiao Yao knew that the zombies were dead. Xiao Yao, who had long since emptied his mental power, was so tired that he sat on the ground. Without mental power, he was too lazy to move. Random task completed. Help a Z clear the zombies in the hamburger shop. Reward experience plus 100. Reward money plus 100. Red ginseng soup plus 1. Random task completed. Help Jin Lian clear the zombies in the hamburger shop. Reward experience plus 100. Reward money plus 100. Red ginseng soup plus 1. At this time, a prompt for completing the random task also appeared in his vision. Xiao Yao took the reward of the random task, 200 experience. For Xiao Yao, who needed 40,000 experience to upgrade, he could no longer see the change in the experience bar. It seems that now, the hamburger shop has been completely cleared. Since the mission has been completed, it means that there are indeed no zombies in the hamburger shop. Xiao Yao should have noticed that the mission has not been completed, which means that there are still zombies in the hamburger shop. At first, I saw that the kitchen was locked and thought there were survivors in the kitchen. Unexpectedly, there was also a zombie in the kitchen. How did he lock the door of the kitchen? Maybe he was still a survivor at that time. As for how he was infected in the kitchen? Or, he was infected and hid in the kitchen before he turned into a zombie. Everything was unknown. Xiao Yao rested for a while and slowly got up. At this time, Xiao Yao picked up the flashlight on his mobile phone and pointed it at the head of the single bed. There was a bedside table next to the small single bed, on which there were several small bottles, several cotton swabs and a roll of gauze. Xiao Yao then realized that this zombie must have been injured before he turned into a zombie. The iodine gauze on the head of the bed meant that he had bandaged it himself before. Xiao Yao, who had been injured, knew that if you were injured in the thick fog, you would continue to bleed and be poisoned. Even if you bandaged the wound, the poisoning state would not be cancelled. Not everyone has the equipment to restore life. Most of the survivors under the quilt were injured in the thick fog, and then bandaged the wound by themselves, but the poisoning state continued, and finally the life was emptied, making him a zombie. But why he was wearing headphones, Xiao Yao didn't know. Xiao Yao just took a step, and it seemed that something hit his foot, and Xiao Yao bent down to pick it up. Leather belt, strength plus 5, combat power plus 5. It was a small piece of equipment. It seemed to be the loot from killing the zombie on the bed just now. Xiao Yao looked carefully at his feet. Nothing else had fallen. This must have been picked up by Xiao Qiang again. Because his phone was full, he put it directly under his feet. Xiao Yao took off the belt on his pants and glanced at the attributes of his belt. Belt, ordinary item. His belt was just an ordinary item without any attributes. Xiao Yao threw it away and put the leather belt that had just exploded on his pants. 5 strengths meant 5 attack power. This belt had a higher attack power than a kitchen knife. Oh, right. Xiao Yao suddenly remembered that there were more than a dozen zombies that he had killed outside. Because the phone was full, he had not picked them up in the phone. Maybe the things that fell were all there. Because there were too many zombie corpses and the smell of blood was a bit overwhelming, Xiao Yao wanted to leave there as soon as he could move his body, but he forgot that zombies could drop things. He went to take a look. Xiao Yao used all his strength to move the table blocking the door, leaving a passage for walking sideways. Xiao Yao, what's wrong? Sister Jinlian asked when she saw Xiao Yao coming out of the kitchen. There was a zombie in the kitchen, but I killed it. Xiao Yao said lightly. It was really nothing. He killed a zombie by covering it with a quilt without any fight. Great, let's go to the kitchen. Jinlian didn't want to stay outside for a moment. The kitchen is too dark, which is not very convenient. Let's stay at the cashier for now. Sister Jinlian, you wait here, I'll go over there and take a look. Xiao Yao glanced at Ozzy, who was still in a coma. She was afraid that she had to take a nap. There was also a zombie corpse in the kitchen. Xiao Yao would move it out later and let Jinlian go to the kitchen. Otherwise, it would be too scary to be with a zombie corpse in the dark. Xiao Yao had to go outside the cashier to see if there were any good things dropped. Sure enough, Xiao Yao came to the place where he fainted after releasing the Thunderbolt Whirlwind Slash, and found that among the corpses of several zombies, there were indeed several dropped equipment. It looked like a dagger with a scabbard. Xiao Yao picked up the knife, opened the scabbard, and saw a small carving knife inside. Carving knife, attack 3-26, combat power plus 26. Oh my god, this knife has a good attack. Xiao Yao saw that the maximum attack of this small carving knife could reach 26, but the minimum attack was only 3. The damage range of this small dagger that depends entirely on luck is too large, which is a bit unreliable. Xiao Yao put the carving knife into the scabbard and pinned it on his belt. Because this carving knife comes with a scabbard, it is quite convenient to carry. Xiao Yao directly pinned it on his belt, which is good for self-defense. Then look at the second small equipment. Is this a pair of Nick shoes? Nick shoes, movement speed 10%. This is actually a pair of shoes with acceleration. Xiao Yao touched the pair of Nick shoes. This was the first time Xiao Yao saw equipment with acceleration. Xiao Yao couldn't wait to take off his rotten canvas shoes. What's more, the pair of Nick shoes fit his feet perfectly. Xiao Yao put on the Nick shoes and tried to walk a few steps. Maybe it was a psychological effect, but he walked a lot faster. Let's see what else is there. Hey, Xiao Yao picked up a badge-like thing on the ground. Prophecy medal, life plus 50, intelligence plus 5, combat power plus 5. This is a medal that increases the upper limit of life and also adds 5 intelligence. The attribute is really not low. Xiao Yao flipped the medal and found a pin on the back, which was just right for pinning on clothes. Xiao Yao carefully scanned the ground and found that there was nothing else. This time he killed a lot of zombies and gave a lot of things, a total of 4 large items. Although the experience given was relatively small, the overall strength increased a lot. Xiao Yao clicked on his personal information. Xiao Yao, race, human level. 13 combat power. 80 health. 285/305, each level increases 10 health points. Mental power. 1/133, each level increases 1 mental power point. Hunger. 5/100, when hunger is 0, 1 health is lost per minute. Attack. 35 to 38 defense. 1 health recovery. 5/minute strength. 20, each 1 point of strength increases health by 1 and attack by 1. Agility. 13 intelligence. 27, each 1 point of intelligence increases mental power by 1. Experience. 8737, 40960. His personal attributes have been greatly improved, but, after all, he is already level 13, and he is only on par with level 4 zombies. There is nothing to be arrogant about, because the strength of zombies is also improving all the time. Xiao Yao noticed that among the zombies killed this time, the lowest were already level 4, and no zombies below level 4 were found at all. Even in the group of zombies just killed, there were level 5 zombies, and the mobility of level 5 zombies was no different from that of ordinary people, but it seemed that level 5 zombies did not know what running meant. Xiao Yao did not know at what level the zombies would have to be upgraded to before they would become intelligent and be able to run, maybe level 6, maybe level 7, who knows. The zombies are constantly upgrading, and it is only a matter of time before they become intelligent. What if they have wisdom and combat power far exceeding that of humans? By then, I am afraid it will be a disaster for mankind. How many survivors who are lucky enough to survive now will be left? But now, his upgrade speed has become very slow. At the current speed, he needs to kill nearly 600 zombies to upgrade. For 600 zombies, his ultimate move, Thunderbolt Whirlwind, can only be released for 68 seconds. He can't kill more than 600 zombies in one breath. Don't forget that the attack range of the ultimate move is only 3 meters. Even if there are zombies all around, he can't kill 600 zombies. If there is a lone zombie after the skill ends, he will die. The future is long and full of difficulties. Xiao Yao doesn't even have a helper. Gurgle. His stomach protested. He had eaten instant noodles in the morning, but now he's hungry again. It seems that strenuous exercise will accelerate the decrease of hunger. He must eat something. Without hunger, he will lose blood. Now his body is still in a poisoned state, which is equal to the recovery of life. He can't lose blood anymore. Chapter 102 Big Head and Thick Neck. Cough, cough. A cough sounded. You're awake. Where is this? Ozzy opened her eyes in confusion, and saw a dim little room. It was Sister Jinlian who asked her. This is the kitchen of the hamburger shop. Those zombies. All dead. Gurgle. Ozzy smiled awkwardly. She was hungry and was protesting. She didn't eat much in the morning. The whole room was filled with warm light. It was the light from a white candle. It was not too bright, but very warm. Ozzy looked up and saw a familiar figure busy at the stove. This was the kitchen of the hamburger shop. Xiao Yao found a bunch of candles in the cabinet of the bedside table, lit the candles, and dispelled the darkness of the whole kitchen. The zombie corpse on the single bed was also directly wrapped in bedding by Xiao Yao and moved outside. There is a gas stove on the operating table in the back kitchen. Fortunately, the gas tank is still very heavy, and there should be a lot of gas left in it. It is estimated that it can be used for a long time. Xiao Yao is frying chicken on the gas stove at this time. Xiao Yao found a pile of chicken for hamburgers and fried chicken and some hamburger embryos in the refrigerator next to it, but because of the power outage, these foods in the refrigerator have long been moldy and smelly. Xiao Yao threw them away directly because they are completely inedible. In case of food poisoning, he can't go to the hospital for an injection. The fried chicken is taken out of Xiao Yao's mobile phone space. Fortunately, this is a hamburger restaurant, and there are many seasonings, chicken essence, cumin, salt and so on. Xiao Yao looked at the shelf life, which is basically about 18 months, that is, a year and a half. The shelf life of these seasonings is a little longer than that of food, so the seasonings can still be used. The previous few times I ate whitewater chicken, this time I can finally eat some flavorful chicken, because Xiao Yao found that among the items stored in a mobile phone space, it seems that the only thing that can be eaten is chicken. I am a little tired of eating it. It seems that I have to get more types of food if I have the opportunity. If I continue to eat like this, even chicken will be difficult to swallow. Because there is no electricity, the range hood in the back kitchen can't work. Xiao Yao just heard the cough of the unconscious Azzi girl. I am afraid that she has woken up, or she may have been choked by the fumes. The reason why Xiao Yao cooks by himself is to increase his proficiency in alchemy. Xiao Yao glanced at the alchemy. Alchemy, beginner, high-end ingredients are often cooked in the simplest way, with a plus 10% effect on the finished products and a 1% chance of mutation. Proficiency 4 out of 10,000 inches. After a while, the chicken was fried, and the proficiency in alchemy increased by 1. Cooking a meal would increase the proficiency by 1. Xiao Yao looked at the proficiency in alchemy. With 3 meals a day, it would take 9 years to upgrade. This was totally illogical. Fried broiler chicken, hunger plus 110, life recovery plus 1 per minute, lasting 30 minutes. Not bad, another dish of food that can both fill you up and restore your life. Come on, you must be hungry, eat something quickly. Xiao Yao served the fried chicken and put it on the bedside table. There was no other food, so he could only eat chicken. Woo. Ozzy had been hungry for a long time. She tore off a piece of chicken leg and started eating it. Her mouth was filled with chicken in an instant. She wished she could grow another mouth. I didn't realize that you are such a good cook, Xiao Yao. I remember saying that seemed to be about you. What is it? Big head, thick neck, either a rich man or a cook. Puff. Jin Lian almost spit out the chicken in her mouth. Xiao Yao also felt a chill. It turned out that Ozzy thought he was a chef in the restaurant. Although he was a little fat, he was definitely not a cook. As for rich men, he didn't seem to be either. It seemed that it was hard to tell. I've decided. I will follow you from now on. Ozzy swallowed a mouthful of chicken hard and took a breath. In order to eat such delicious food, it's better to follow you. Oh? Did you ask for my opinion? I didn't say I would always take you with me. Xiao Yao was anxious after hearing this. It was difficult for him to protect himself, let alone protect Sister Jin Lian. What if Ozzy was a burden? Don't even think about it. Why, you still have a problem with a beautiful girl like me following you? Ozzy pouted. She was the most beautiful girl in her class in high school, but she didn't take the college entrance examination, so she just came down to work on her own. However, Ozzy was still very confident about her appearance. Ozzy glanced at Xiao Yao. What else did Xiao Yao have except being fat and cooking delicious food? He was just a fat otaku, but he still had a problem with her? Ozzy completely forgot that she had imagined that Xiao Yao would let her wear a maid outfit. Yes, you are a beauty, but you are not my type. I can take you to a relatively safe place on the way, and then we can go our separate ways. I also have my own destination, so I can't always take you with me. I'm not your type? Did I hear you right? I was the class beauty in high school with this look. Are you kidding me? I'm saying I want to hang out with you, not marry you. Do I need to be your type? You, a fat otaku, have really high requirements. Tisk, I was just talking. You want me to follow you all the time, but I don't want to. Az glanced at Xiao Yao. Apart from being fat and being able to cook, he didn't seem to have any other strengths. He wasn't handsome at all. The reason she followed him was because there was no one else around at the moment, and once they got to a safe place, she would leave without him saying anything. That's good. Xiao Yao patted his chest with a relieved look. It's just a hairdresser at a hair salon. Don't follow me. Even if you are as beautiful as a fairy, so what? I don't want a bus driver to follow me. I feel sick just thinking about it. Xiao Yao glanced at Izzy. She was wearing heavy makeup. The powder must be 1 centimeter thick. Aren't you afraid of getting a rash? Oh my god. Izzy looked at Xiao Yao and got angry. This fat guy was afraid that I would rely on him. If it weren't for his big size, I really wanted to slap him. Forget it. Now I still need this fat guy to protect me. I have to bear it for now. Okay, stop making trouble. Jin Lian looked at the two of them bickering with each other like enemies. Hurry up and eat. In Doomsday, it's rare to be able to eat delicious chicken and to be full. We should cherish it even more. Sister Jin Lian is still the best, Xiao Yao muttered to himself while eating. Oh, what does it mean to be reasonable? Xiao Yao, you. Azzi threw down the chicken in her hand. Don't go too far. Believe it or not, I'm leaving now. Azzi stood up and stared at Xiao Yao. Please. Xiao Yao made way and extended his left hand. If you want to leave, feel free to do so, but I have something to say in advance. Huh? What? If you leave, I welcome you anytime, but if you come back, I'm sorry, there is no place for you here anymore. You. Ozzy really wanted to stop being bullied here, but when she thought of the zombies outside, she was afraid that it would be difficult for her to go far. If she returned to her barber shop, she would have to go out to look for food again soon because there was no food. As a woman, it would be difficult for her to find food. Ozzy sat down sullenly and protested silently. It seems that you have decided to stay. Ozzy shook her head, unwilling to pay attention to Xiao Yao. Since you're staying, I have to tell you the rules. Rules? Yes, rules. Since you're staying in this team, then this team has only one leader, and that's me. Xiao Yao stared at Azzi's eyes. I said this morning that if you join my team, you must follow my orders in all actions. This is not just talk. Look at the chicken you're eating now, it was given to you by me. Look at the zombies outside, they were killed by me. What did you do? Az didn't speak, and didn't know what to say. Besides screaming and chirping on the road, almost attracting zombies, besides fainting when you see zombies, besides waiting here for the meal to be served to you, and making the meal for you, you still nag non-stop. Yes, I am the cook, I give you food and keep you alive. Am I your breadwinner? Shouldn't you respect me as you respect your parents? What about you? Apart from being crazy, what did you do? Or do you treat your parents the same way? As your parents, it is natural for them to provide you with food and a safe place to live. Providing you with food and taking you along the way is already the best care for you. Don't forget, I am not your parent, I have no obligation to do so, you'd better understand your situation. Chapter 103, Not willing to take any action. Ozzy lowered her head, saying nothing. It was unknown whether she had heard what Xiao Yao said. Woo woo woo. After a while, a low sob came from Ozzy's direction. Xiao Yao looked at Ozzy, who was lowering her head and wiping her tears. He just said a few words to her. Why did she start crying? Women are really troublesome, it's really hard to say. Xiao Yao, look at you, the little girl is also in a bad mood, venting her emotions, can't you give in to her a little? Jin Lian stared at Xiao Yao, looking like she was disappointed in him, and then turned to comfort Ozzy. Ozzy, it's okay, I'm here, Xiao Yao doesn't dare to do anything to you, don't cry, your face will be ugly if you cry. Woo woo woo, no one has ever dared to be so mean to me. Ozzy lowered her head and sobbed. Tisk, a bus, still so hypocritical. Xiao Yao glanced at Ozzy, too lazy to talk to a woman and lower his status. Xiao Yao, why don't you apologize to Miss Ozzy? Jin Lian winked at Xiao Yao, meaning that Xiao Yao should apologize to Ozzy. I'm telling the truth. I did nothing wrong. Why should I apologize? She's the one who should apologize. Ozzy is a girl after all. Xiao Yao, can't you be more accommodating? She should apologize. You guys eat. I'm full. I'll go out and take a look. Xiao Yao put down his bowl and chopsticks, got up and left the kitchen. It was impossible for him to apologize. He would never apologize in this life. Xiao Yao, you. Jin Lian saw Xiao Yao got up and went out directly. It's okay, AZ. I'm here. I won't let you leave this team. Really, Sister Jin Lian, Xiao Yao is so fierce. I'm afraid Xiao Yao will really drive me away. No, my brother Xiao Yao is soft-hearted. You won't get any good results if you are so tough. Jin Lian could see that Ozzy wanted to have some say in this team, not just a protected little sheep. It's just that she used the wrong method. With Ozzy's appearance, ordinary boys would probably just hook her hand, but Xiao Yao was different. Xiao Yao was a wooden man. This trick was like hitting cotton. Xiao Yao didn't fall for it. Then, what should we do then? Ozzy's face instantly turned red as if her secrets were revealed. She really wanted to use this method to take down Xiao Yao, so that she could have some say. She didn't want to be the bottom of this team. I think it's better for you to apologize to Xiao Yao. After all, he now provides us with a safe place and food. He deserves an apology. Jin Lian said slowly. She should have roughly guessed what Ozzy was thinking. She just wanted to have some say in this team. Jin Lian simply helped Ozzy. If Xiao Yao could become a couple with Ozzy, it would be good. Jin Lian thought it through. She was much older than Xiao Yao, and Xiao Yao always treated her as a sister. She had been with Xiao Yao for so long, and had been alone with him for so long, and Xiao Yao had never crossed the line step, even if she did artificial respiration for herself, but afterwards, it seemed to return to the previous state. I'm afraid Xiao Yao really has no feelings for her. Ozzy looks young and beautiful. It's not bad to be Xiao Yao's brother's girlfriend. So Jin Lian tried Ozzy's attitude and Xiao Yao's attitude to see if Xiao Yao is simply not interested in her or all women. If he is just not interested in her, then Jin Lian will let it go completely. If Xiao Yao is not interested in all women, I'm afraid Xiao Yao is really a wooden man and can't be expected to take the initiative. Outside the cash register of the hamburger shop, a busy figure was dragging the corpses on the ground back and forth. Xiao Yao moved all the corpses of 11 zombies to the outside of the hamburger shop and piled them at the intersection next to it. Originally, Xiao Yao wanted to use the space on his mobile phone to collect them, so as to avoid contact with the zombie corpses. As a result, he found that when collecting the corpses, it was still prompted that the item was too large and could not be collected. Xiao Yao could only carry it by hand. Fortunately, he found a plastic glove for washing dishes in the kitchen. Otherwise Xiao Yao would not move it if he touched it directly with his hands. Xiao Yao cleared the corpses of the zombies and used a broom to sweep the remaining limbs and arms on the ground. He didn't clean the bloodstains for the time being. The water and electricity were cut off, and water resources were very precious. Xiao Yao glanced at the hamburger shop. When he dragged the corpses, he left streaks of blood on the ground, like a runway. There were also many bloodstains on the walls, tables and chairs. Although bloody, at least there were no corpses. Now it looks much better. Brother Xiao Yao, you must be tired. Drink some water. Xiao Yao was standing in the hall looking outside the hamburger shop after finishing his work. Suddenly, a voice sounded from behind. Xiao Yao looked back and saw that it was not Azzy or someone else. Not thirsty. Xiao Yao turned around. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that just now. It's okay. Xiao Yao was also such a petty person, how could he be angry with a girl? I know I was wrong, please forgive me. Azzy took Xiao Yao's hand and shook it. Hardness didn't work, so she was going to use softness. I forgive you. As long as you listen to me and obey my orders in the future, I will definitely protect you and send you to a safe place. Well, I will never make trouble in the future. I will listen to you. If you say go east, I will never go west. It's not that serious. Just don't make trouble. Sweat beads appeared on Xiao Yao's forehead. Why did Miss Azzy suddenly change her personality? She hurriedly pulled out her arms and ran to the kitchen. There seemed to be a lot of boxes in the kitchen. I'll go see if there's anything useful. Brother Xiao Yao, I'll help you. Azzy saw Xiao Yao escape to the kitchen, and stared at Xiao Yao's back with smiling eyes. Sure enough, acting like a spoiled child is a temptation that men cannot refuse. Xiao Yao ran back to the kitchen. Azzy's actions reminded him of his girlfriend Xiaozin before his rebirth. He wondered how she was doing and whether she was still alive. He would take a rest for the night and go to the school clinic to find an antidote tomorrow. Then, he would go to the classroom to see if Xiaozin was there. He didn't know if Xiaozin was on her way home from school, at school, in the classroom, at home, or somewhere else. Anyway, he would go to the classroom to see if Xiaozin was there tomorrow. Are you okay? Xiaozin. Xiao Yao clenched his fists tightly. Azzy's sudden change reminded Xiao Yao of Xiaozin. When he thought of Xiaozin, Xiao Yao's mouth curled up. The strawberry-flavored kiss was sweet. That was his first kiss. But after his rebirth, his first kiss was gone. It was given to Sister Jinlian, but that was to save people, which was different. Moreover, Xiao Yao had no distractions at that time. He was just saving people. Xiaozin was the only one who had distractions. Brother Xiao Yao, what are you looking for? I'll help you. At this time, Miss Azzy had returned, staring at Xiao Yao with her big eyes. Oh my god, Xiao Yao complained. Who could stand this cuteness? But when he thought that she was a social person, a hair salon girl, it was like a basin of cold water poured on his head. He couldn't let Xiaozin down. I can do it myself. Don't bother me. Xiao Yao frowned and searched for boxes on the shelf. HMPH, who cares? Azzy found that Xiao Yao suddenly had a stern face. He was not good at being hard or soft. He was really hard to please. I won't serve him anymore. Azzy said and sat on the single bed, looking at Xiao Yao's back with hatred. Huh? Xiao Yao breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Azzy no longer bothered him. Chapter 104 Beggars want money, zombies want lives. Xiao Yao tidied up the kitchen of the hamburger shop. Most of the ingredients on the shelves had begun to grow mold. Although they were edible, Xiao Yao did not dare to take the risk. If he got food poisoning, it would be very difficult to deal with. There was also a horizontal freezer next to it. The food in the freezer was originally perishable food. After the power outage, it had only been a few days, and the ice in the freezer had almost melted. The food in the freezer also began to stink. Xiao Yao pinched a plastic bag with 2 fingers. In the plastic bag was a bag of fried chicken. It looked like it had been fished out of the water. Half of the water in the freezer had melted. I was afraid that these foods could not be eaten. If something bad happened to them, it would not be worth the loss. Xiao Yao closed the freezer. There was basically no edible food left. Only some seasonings could be used. The rest was the stove and a kitchen knife. As for electrical appliances such as microwave ovens, deep fryers, and ovens, now that there was no electricity, they seemed to have basically lost their function. There is a small shoulder bag next to the single bed. Although it is small, It can at least hold some small things. Xiao Yao put the iodine gauze on the bedside table into the shoulder bag, and put the soul locking bead in his pocket into the small shoulder bag. Ling. The battery of the mobile phone is less than 10%. Do you want to enter the power saving mode? A prompt appeared in the field of vision. Because the flashlight function of the mobile phone was enabled, the power of the mobile phone was consumed very quickly. Now the mobile phone only has 10% of the battery. If it is not charged, it will be turned off at night. The mobile phone is the biggest reliance for survival, but it must not be turned off. Looking at the time, it is already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There is still time to go out and search. No. Xiao Yao directly chose no, not to enter the power saving mode. Are you kidding? I definitely can't enter the power saving mode. Xiao Yao has tried it before. The power saving mode is basically only the functions of an ordinary mobile phone. What's the use of it? Sister Jinlian, I have to go out for a while and search for supplies nearby. Oh, okay, be careful. Sister Jinlian suddenly heard that Xiao Yao was going out, but she didn't react much. She knew that Xiao Yao had many secrets, so she wouldn't ask. She only prayed that he would come back safely. In this way, she would survive longer. If she couldn't help, she would not cause more trouble. Oh, Xiao Yao, you are going out? I want to go too. When Ozzy heard that they were going out, she wanted to follow. In this dim space in the back kitchen, there was nothing she could do except staring at the faint light of the candle. It was really boring. Just stay here. Xiao Yao didn't give her a good look. Why? I want to go. Ozzy pouted and said angrily. Either stay here and be obedient, or go wherever you want, but don't follow me. Brother Xiao Yao, please take me with you. I really will listen to you. What? Have you forgotten what I said again? In this team, I'm the leader. Either listen to me or get out immediately. Ozzy pouted, tears welled up in her eyes, and she was about to cry. Cry, 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 you just cry all day long, women are trouble. Xiao Yao was annoyed when he saw Ozzy was about to cry again. He brought Ozzy with him because of the mission, not because Ozzy was so beautiful. Did Ozzy know what to do? Stay here honestly, I'll bring you some delicious food. Sister Jinlian, find something to hold the door, I'll be back soon, and no one else can open the door except me. Well, okay, come back soon. Jinlian responded. Don't forget to bring me something delicious as you said. Ozzy heard Xiao Yao was going to bring her something delicious. She hadn't eaten something delicious for a long time. She had instant noodles every day a few days ago, and now she eats chicken every day. She is so sick of it. Glancing at Ozzy who was still looking at him pitifully, Xiao Yao turned around and left the kitchen. Sister Jinlian, block the door. Got it, you go and come back soon. Sister Jinlian's voice came from inside, followed by the sound of moving things. Xiao Yao tried the door of the kitchen. Although the door of the kitchen was broken and could not be locked from the inside, it could still resist ordinary zombies by putting a table or something on it from the inside. Xiao Yao gently pushed the door of the kitchen. Well, it was okay. At least it was still difficult to push it open without force. He just went out to see if there was anything to charge, and he was not going far, so he didn't need a strong defense. The door outside the hamburger shop can be opened from both inside and outside. It is useless if it cannot be blocked, so Xiao Yao directly asked Jinlian to block the door of the kitchen. Xiao Yao came out of the hamburger shop. On the left was the alley leading south, which was the road he came in the morning. To the west was the road to school. Because it was time to go out of school, he would probably encounter a lot of zombies. Xiao Yao's mental strength had not recovered yet, so he was not suitable for fighting for the time being. To the north was a river, and swimming in this cold winter was not very wise. The north was not accessible for the time being, so he could only explore to the east first, and explore the rooms along the street one by one. There would always be power banks or something. Xiao Yao was sticking to the wall, hunched over and slowly moving eastward. Next to the hamburger restaurant was a printing and copying shop. There were broken glass shards all over the floor at the door, as well as some papers scattered on the ground, some with words and some without. Looking through the door, he saw that the floor of the printing and copying shop was covered with scattered papers. There were 2 long bloodstains on the ground extending to the wall. Xiao Yao followed the bloodstains and saw a zombie sitting by the wall. The zombie was wearing dark blue jeans and a coat, but the clothes were tattered and hung on his body like pieces of cloth. His arms were exposed with deep wounds on his arms and his left leg was stretched out. This zombie had no left foot, and the base of the calf of his left leg could be vaguely seen. The bones were exposed, and there was no calf on the right leg. Everything below the thigh was missing. The flesh and blood exposed on the thigh was now black. The 2 long blood stains on the ground were from the gaps in the zombie's legs. At this time, the zombie had his left hand on the gap in his right leg and lowered his head. His head was lowered very low, almost to his stomach. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. The shop was very small. Xiao Yao looked around. There was a bar counter and a row of printing equipment next to it. No other zombies were found. Xiao Yao clenched the axe in his hand. If there was only one zombie, it should not be difficult to kill, especially since this zombie had no legs. It would be a piece of cake. Xiao Yao slowly approached the zombie leaning against the wall. Crackling. Xiao Yao, who wanted to approach the zombies quietly, stepped on the broken glass at the door and made a sound. Hungry. The zombie, who was thinking with his head down, woke up from standby mode when he heard the strange sound. He slowly raised his head, revealing a withered face, with his gums all exposed, and black blood between his teeth. When the zombie saw Xiao Yao in front of him, black and red saliva flowed from the corners of his mouth, dripping on the clothes in front of him, not caring about the dirt. Xiao Yao got goosebumps all over his body. How disgusting. The zombie was so excited that he wanted to get up and grab Xiao Yao, but he seemed to have forgotten that he had no feet at all, so he fell directly to the ground, and then used his 2 hands instead of feet to crawl towards Xiao Yao. It's really touching. Xiao Yao looked at the zombie that was struggling to crawl towards him. The appearance of this zombie reminded him of those disabled beggars who asked for money on the roadside in peacetime. The situation was exactly the same as now, except that the beggars only wanted money, while these zombies wanted their lives. Chapter 105 Upstarts. Zombie race, undead level. 4 combat power. 60 health. 550 inches. As they got closer, the zombies' information also appeared in Xiao Yao's field of vision. Now, it was just such a disabled zombie, with such a high level, combat power and health. Looking at the beggar who had crawled in front of him and begged him to give him some flesh and blood, Xiao Yao did not show any mercy. He raised the axe in his hand and chopped the zombie's head hard. Puff. 60555. The axe sank into the zombie's head, causing 60 damage. Although it was quite high, for a zombie with 550 health points, it would probably take nearly 10 hits. Fortunately, it hit the zombie's head and successfully triggered the bleeding state of the zombie. This axe directly chopped the zombie to the ground. Xiao Yao pressed the handle of the axe, and the zombie's face was directly pressed to the ground. He desperately opened his hands to grab Xiao Yao. Huh? The axe once again lived up to expectations and got stuck in the zombie's head. Seeing that the zombie was about to grab him with its outstretched hand, Xiao Yao kicked the zombie's hand away. Then he shook the axe vigorously and took it out again. Xiao Yao chopped the zombie's arm with the axe. He would chop the zombie into a human pig first, and then see how you can catch me. After a few axe hits, the zombie's arm became useless. The zombie who had lost his limbs now only had a mouth with exposed gums, and it raised its head and bit Xiao Yao unwillingly. You're not a beauty, why are you looking at me like that? Xiao Yao looked at the zombie and could only stare at him. If he could eat him by staring, he would have died countless times. Let me end your suffering quickly. I still need to charge my phone. Xiao Yao glanced at his poisoning state. It had already stacked to 10 layers. At this time, he had lost 55 health points. Xiao Yao took out a bottle of red ginseng soup and gulped it down. If he continued like this, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Xiao Yao stopped dragging his feet and cleared the zombie's blood with a few axes. The zombies had tilted to one side and died. Experience plus 55, money plus 55. Xiao Yao looked at his feet and didn't see any other equipment. It seemed that this was a poor zombie. Xiao Yao wiped the blood stains on the axe on the zombie's body and walked into the printing and copying shop with the axe. He must have a power bank or something, otherwise it would be a waste of effort. After searching for a while, Xiao Yao really found some power banks. Yes, some. Oh my god. I'm rich. There were a bunch of power banks and a bunch of messy charging cables on the cash register of the copy shop. Xiao Yao noticed at this time that there was an A4 paper on the wall next to the cash register, which read 1 yuan for 1 WMA for power bank charging. Unexpectedly, This copy shop was doing this kind of business. Charging the power banks was really a piece of cake. Now it was a bargain for him. Xiao Yao unplugged all the power banks. 1, 2, 3, 5. There were 5 power banks. Xiao Yao turned on the switches one by one, and they were all fully charged. One of the power banks even had a flashlight function, which was perfect. Xiao Yao was as happy as a child, as if he had spent 2 yuan to buy a lottery ticket and won the first prize of 5 million. A nouveau riche, yes, a nouveau riche. There was no word to describe the feeling at this moment. Xiao Yao put all the power banks directly into the shoulder bag, which was directly deformed by the pressure. He didn't need so many charging cables, so Xiao Yao took 2 that looked of better quality and a charger, and put the rest on the cashier's counter. Xiao Yao also put the mobile phone into the shoulder bag and connected the charging cable. 1 power bank can charge the mobile phone 3 times, and 5 power banks can charge it at least 15 times. Excluding the power bank that serves as a flashlight, it can also be charged 12 times. Well, it looks like he won't have to worry about the battery problem of the mobile phone for at least half a month. What's more, he will continue to search for power banks along the way. At this time, the biggest problem that has troubled Xiao Yao, the battery problem of the mobile phone, has been preliminarily solved. Xiao Yao's heart is relieved. Xiao Yao continued to look through the cashier's counter to see if there are any other items. There is also a cash box on the cashier's counter. SHH. There was a key hanging on the cash box, so Xiao Yao opened the drawer directly. There were $1 bills, $5 bills, $10 bills, neatly arranged in different categories. Xiao Yao lifted a partition, and there were some $100 bills underneath. Xiao Yao didn't hesitate and put all the money into his mobile phone. There were about 2,000 yuan. Although it was not much, it was better than nothing. Don't forget, it was much more than killing a zombie and dropping 50 yuan. Xiao Yao glanced at the amount of money. At this time, the total deposit was only more than 5,000 yuan. He hadn't looked carefully at the cash register of the hamburger shop. It seemed that he had to collect all the money there. Sister Jinlian still had 20,000 yuan that he hadn't asked her for, so he had to get it back first. A lot of time had passed, and the poisoning state had been stacked to a terrifying level. Xiao Yao's health value of 312 was not enough to deduct it. The door of the printing and copying shop was broken, so the poisoning state was stacked in the house. Xiao Yao didn't stay and quickly ran back to the hamburger shop next door. After closing the door, Xiao Yao took a deep breath. It was refreshing to breathe the clean air. As the fog outside became thicker, the smell of urea became more and more overpowering. Taking a breath of the fog outside felt like breathing opium, and it choked his throat. It seemed that he had to get a mask to wear. I hoped that there would be masks in the school's infirmary. The hamburger shop's business is much better than that of the printing and copying shop. It should make more money than the printing and copying shop, right? Xiao Yao went straight to the cashier counter. The hamburger shop must make more money. Just look at the cash register, it even has a display screen, how advanced. Xiao Yao pulled the cash box. Huh? The cash register of this hamburger shop is locked. They are really careful. Xiao Yao searched around the counter and didn't find any keys. He glanced at the cash box again. The lock opener is missing and cannot be unlocked. Okay, this prompt appears again. Xiao Yao's field of vision appeared again. Lock opener, what is this thing? Where can I get it? Xiao Yao was confused. No keys, no lock opener. It seems that he can only break it by brute force. Xiao Yao raised the axe in his hand and chopped at the cash box. Bang! A hole was split in the cash box. Xiao Yao continued to split it a few more times and broke the entire cash box to pieces, revealing the money inside. Xiao Yao flipped through it. This is not scientific. Xiao Yao looked at the turned out money. How could there be only 600 yuan? This was totally inconsistent with his guess. A hamburger shop should make much more money than a printing and copying shop. How could there be only so little money? Xiao Yao looked up and accidentally glanced at the QR code on the cash box. This damn QR code. Xiao Yao saw the QR code and suddenly realized that 90% of the money was collected through QR codes, so there was less cash. Oh, Xiao Yao sighed. 600 is 600, it's better than having no money. He glanced at the damaged cash box. The value of this box alone is probably more than 600. Sister Jinlian, I'm back. Xiao Yao said to the kitchen, then turned sideways and pushed the kitchen door hard with his arm. Chapter 106 Night Vision. 2114. Xiao Yao stretched and opened his sleepy eyes. There was no window in the kitchen and it was still dark in his vision. Xiao Yao fumbled for the reconnaissance glasses at hand, put them on, turned his neck, and his bones creaked. He couldn't sleep while sitting down. He felt uncomfortable all over. There was only one single bed, which was occupied by two girls. Xiao Yao couldn't squeeze in. With Xiao Yao's physique, this wooden single bed might not be able to support his weight. So he simply gave it to the two girls to sleep on. His neck creaked a few times and he felt much more comfortable. Xiao Yao took out his mobile phone. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. Today was the 5th day of the apocalypse. However, the way home was still very far away. Although it was only 6 kilometers away from home, it was only half an hour's ride in peacetime, but now it would take days. After all, it has been 5 days, and Xiao Yao has not left the village. This is the hamburger restaurant at the north entrance of Daoxiang village. Further north is Xiao Yao's school. On the main interface of the reconnaissance glasses, in addition to those icon attributes, there is also a faint light from the phone. It is dark all around. Xiao Yao glanced at his status. All attributes are full, and the only negative buff is the poisoning state, which continues to lose 5 drops of health per minute. Fortunately, he is wearing 2 life recovering equipment, and his own bodybuilding technique restores 1 drop of health per minute. Speaking of bodybuilding technique, it should be upgraded at this time. Xiao Yao used the weak light of his mobile phone to shine. Sister Jinlian and Miss Azu were leaning against each other on the single bed. I don't know who it is, but they are still snoring softly. Xiao Yao shook his head, walked quietly to the door of the back kitchen, and slowly moved the operating table that locked the door. The sky outside was already light. Xiao Yao took a chair and sat down in front of the window. Xiao Yao looked out the window. The thick fog outside was still continuing. I don't know how long it will take to dissipate. Xiao Yao felt a little puzzled. The thick fog seemed to be fixed here. Why was there not even a little wind? It would be fine if there was no sun, at least some wind would blow away the thick fog. There was no wind, no rain. Was this area sealed? Of course, in addition to the wind and rain, there was still no rescue information. Xiao Yao listened attentively. There were only some vague sounds in a very distant place, like crying, laughing, and screaming. Who knows what the specific sound is? It's very strange. Xiao Yao lowered his head, took out his mobile phone, and used the light outside to see what the body forging technique looked like after upgrading. Xiao Yao clicked on the skill bar. Academics, normal, intelligence +7. Reconnaissance, information on items and creatures within a range of 3 meters that are not higher than its own level 5. Consumes money 1/2. Upgradable, the top one is his first skill, academics. Xiao Yao has always been sad that he didn't learn well. This is an ordinary standard. I don't know what level it is. After 10 years of hard study, the knowledge he learned only gave him 7 intelligence. A medal dropped by a monster gave him 5 intelligence. It was a complete waste of 10 years. If he had worked harder at that time, would he have increased his intelligence more? When I have time, I must review all the courses from elementary school to university carefully and try to increase my intelligence. The second skill is the skill that comes with the detection glasses. At this time, Xiao Yao noticed that there were a few more words behind this skill. Upgradable? It has been a long time since I opened the skill bar. Xiao Yao didn't know when this upgrade was added. Since it can be upgraded, then upgrade it. The detection skill has a range of 3 meters, which is indeed a bit tight. Upgrade. The detection glasses are being worn and cannot be upgraded. Such a prompt appeared in the field of vision. It turns out that the detection glasses need to be taken off to upgrade this skill. Xiao Yao took off the detection glasses. It happened that he had added a mobile phone space last night, so Xiao Yao directly saved the detection glasses to the mobile phone space. Upgrade. Ling. Upgrading requires 100 inferior blood essences. Do you want to upgrade? This thing also needs inferior blood essences to upgrade. Xiao Yao looked at the mobile phone space. Since upgrading Xiaoqiang, he had consumed a lot of inferior blood essences, and he had not used them. Killing the zombies in the hamburger shop dropped a few more pieces. At this time, there were 606 inferior blood essences left. Xiao Yao played with the inferior blood essences he took out. This inferior blood essence the size of rock candy, could it be a must-have for his subsequent upgrades? In the future, Will other equipment also need inferior blood essences to upgrade? Upgrade. Let's talk about the future later. At this time, he is still rich. Anyway, he can upgrade only two equipments, one is detection glasses, and the other is the pet cockroach. If he doesn't upgrade them, who can he upgrade? Ling. The detection glasses are upgraded to 2 stars. Xiao Yao glanced at the skill column, and it can be upgraded. Upgrade. Ling. Upgrading requires 200 inferior blood essences. Do you want to upgrade? Yes. Ling. The reconnaissance glasses are upgraded to 3 stars. Upgrade. Ling. Upgrading requires 400 inferior blood essences. Do you want to upgrade? No. As expected, it takes 400 yuan to upgrade again. Xiao Yao now only has 306 inferior blood essences. It seems that he needs to get more inferior blood essences as soon as possible. This is a strategic resource that is more valuable than money. Of course, it may only be useful to himself at present. Let's see what the properties of the reconnaissance glasses after the upgrade are. Xiao Yao took out the reconnaissance glasses from the mobile phone space. Huh? The original reconnaissance glasses looked like ordinary black-framed myopic glasses, but what appeared in Xiao Yao's hands at this time was a pair of frog-shaped glasses like sunglasses. Wearing this frog-shaped glasses, won't it affect the field of vision? Xiao Yao put on the frog-shaped glasses, and a blue light curtain extended from his eyes to the distance. Then the original interface appeared in his field of vision. In the upper left corner was his avatar's health value, mental strength and hunger degree, and below were some icons. Although it was a pair of sunglasses, it was not as dark as Xiao Yao imagined. Xiao Yao felt that the objects in his field of vision were clearer and brighter, even brighter than during the day. It was magical, but a little strange. The scenery was a little green. Could it be because of this pair of sunglasses? On the far right of the field of vision, several icons appeared at this time. Xiao Yao focused his vision on the newly appeared icons. Reconnaissance can detect information about items and creatures within 5 meters that are not higher than your level by 15. Costs 3/second. On-off. Now you can turn on and off skills in this interface, which can save a lot of time and is much more convenient. After the reconnaissance skill is upgraded, although the distance has increased by 2 meters, the amount of money consumed has increased. It used to consume only 1 per second, but now it consumes 3. I only have 5,600 in savings now, and this skill can only be used for half an hour. Xiao Yao hurriedly turned off this skill. I don't know if this upgrade is a blessing or a curse. The reconnaissance skill can be turned on continuously for 1.5 hours, but now it can only be turned on for half an hour. It seems that I have to hurry up and make some money. Continue to look at the next icon. Night vision, costs 10 gold coins per second, on can be turned off. Oh my god. Xiao Yao complained, this function is amazing, it can be used day and night from now on, but seeing the high cost, it consumes 10 gold coins per second, which is totally a money grab. It costs 5,600 yuan to turn on the night vision alone, and it can only be turned on for 9 minutes, which is also amazing. Another big money grabber has appeared. Xiao Yao hurriedly turned off the night vision function, and the scene in front of him returned to normal again. After all, it was only dawn and it was very bright. Xiao Yao was wondering why the scene in front of him was so clear and bright. It turned out that the night vision function was turned on after upgrading to 3-star reconnaissance glasses, but this function was a bit expensive. Xiao Yao felt a pain in his heart. In just a few minutes, only 4,400 gold coins had been consumed. He had just temporarily solved the problem of mobile phone battery, and now he had to worry about money again. After all, reconnaissance glasses are the second most important function besides mobile phones. Now, he is so poor that he can't even make ends meet. Below that are some empty grids. Xiao Yao knows that these skills can be customized. Xiao Yao directly put the Thunderbolt Whirlwind Slash on this main interface. Although he may not use it, he doesn't seem to have any skills to use. Body tempering technique is a passive skill and cannot be moved at all. As for the others, why are there several unnamed skills at the bottom of the skill bar? Chapter 107 AZ has a fever. I saw 3 more unnamed skills at the bottom of the skill bar. Unnamed, single attack, hit the opponent's vital points hard, causing 120% basic damage and causing 1 second stun. Need to be equipped with a blunt weapon. The stun probability is the ratio of your own strength to the enemy unit. There is only 1 effective stun every 5 minutes, and it consumes 5 mental power time 1/10000. Unnamed, Group attack. Sweep the enemies in the semicircle in front of you, causing 80% basic damage, consuming 5 mental power time 1/10000. Unnamed. Single attack. Slash left and right. Quickly attack the enemy unit twice, each time causing 70% basic damage, consuming 5 mental power time 1/10000. 3 skills, 2 single-person skills and 1 group. Based skills. When I first comprehended a skill, I could only see the skill introduction after naming it. Now I can see the skill introduction directly. The system is becoming more and more considerate. Xiao Yao has never liked naming, so I just took a few words from the skill introduction and named them. Xiao Yao waved his hand and named the 3 skills directly. Heavy attack. Sweep. Chop. Then he put all 3 skills on the main interface, which is more convenient to use. Although these 3 skills consume more mental energy, they do not have the side effects of Thunderbolt, Whirlwind, Slash, so it seems that they can still be used continuously. Oh no, oh no. Xiao Yao, who was studying new skills, was interrupted by a burst of urgent calls from behind. Xiao Yao looked back and saw Sister Jinlian running over from the back kitchen in a panic. What's wrong, Sister Jinlian? Oh no, Mrs. E. Sister Jinlian was almost suffocating herself. What's wrong? Tell me quickly. Has it turned into a corpse? Has it mutated? Has it become a zombie? Xiao Yao was more anxious than Jinlian. You should finish your sentence. If it turns into a corpse, this mission will be ruined. As for feelings? I have only known Z for 1 day. Where's the feeling? What Xiao Yao is most concerned about at this time is that the mission target has turned into a corpse. Will the mission be considered a failure? Xiao Yao hurriedly checked the task list, and the task was still there. No, Miss Ezzy, she has a fever. Sister Jinlian finally said, what happened to Ezzy? You scared me. When Xiao Yao heard that Ezzy just had a fever, his heart, which had been so scared that it jumped out of his throat, finally calmed down. It was just a fever, as long as she didn't turn into a zombie. Why are you still so happy? Fever. Sister Jinlian pinched Xiao Yao's arm. I know, it's just a fever, not a zombie. The problem is, we don't have medicine to reduce fever, and we can't get an injection now. If she keeps having a fever like this, she won't be able to bear it. Yet, I know. Xiao Yao frowned. It seemed that the trip to the school clinic had to be advanced. Let's go and see if Aziz's fever is serious. The 2 of them walked quickly to the back kitchen. Xiao Yao touched Aziz's forehead with the back of his hand. It was a little hot, and glanced at Aziz's condition. Fever, lose 1 horsepower per minute, the state cannot be cancelled automatically, need to take antipyretics or get antipyretic injections. Ozzy only has 112 HP, and if she loses 1 horsepower per minute, she can only last less than 2 hours. The 2 HP recovering equipment on her body can only barely keep her from losing HP. It's really raining on a rainy night. If she takes off a HP recovering equipment, will she be in trouble? Xiao Yao glanced at the upgraded level 2 body forging technique. Physical forging technique level 2, passive, only a body that can withstand thousands of tempers can be invincible. If you want to learn to attack, you must first learn to defend, and the best defense is not to break the defense. Defense +2, HP +2, HP recovery +2 per minute. Gain 1 proficiency for every 1 horsepower consumed. Current proficiency 10/20000. Level 2 physical forging technique can already restore 2 horsepower per minute, but if you take off a piece of equipment, it can't keep up with your own poisoning status. How much red ginseng soup do you and Aziz have left? I still have 2 bottles, and Aziz still has 1 bottle. After thinking about it, Xiao Yao decided not to take the equipment for the time being. If he took down 1 piece of equipment, he would not be able to return safely, and then the whole group would be wiped out. There were still 3 bottles of mutated red ginseng soup. If all of them were given to Aziz, they could last for 4.5 hours. Xiao Yao thought about it and took out 2 more bottles of red ginseng soup. Sister Jinlian, take these 2 bottles of red ginseng soup. Give Aziz a bottle of red ginseng soup every 50 minutes. Remember, you must drink 1 bottle every 50 minutes. Don't drink it too early or too late. The time must be accurate. If you waste the red ginseng soup too early, you won't be able to last it long. If you drink it too late, Az might lose all her health points. I don't know if the fever will cause her to mutate into a zombie. Xiao Yao doesn't dare to gamble. Okay. Sister Jinlian was also very nervous at this time. Having a fever at this time is really fatal. Without further delay, I will go find antipyretics now. Xiao Yao immediately decided to find antipyretics now. Why don't you go after you finish your breakfast? Sister Jinlian said. Let's talk about breakfast later. You can make some when you have time. I'll eat when I come back. Although he didn't have breakfast, he couldn't wait any longer. After all, this fever was not an ordinary fever. It would cause continuous blood loss. It was completely different from what he usually imagined. He had to race against time. Then be careful and come back early. Yes, I'll go and block the door. By the way, Sister Jinlian, I haven't been embarrassed to ask you for the 20,000 yuan I gave you. Now I need the money urgently. Don't be so polite to me in the future. You can tell me directly what you want. I'm afraid this money is useless now. Just take it. Sister Jinlian took out the 20,000 yuan from her backpack and put it directly into Xiao Yao's hand without any stinginess. Thank you, Sister Jinlian. Don't worry, I will pay you back tenfold. Yes, I believe you. I'm leaving. Wait for me to come back. Xiao Yao turned and walked out of the kitchen, closed the door, and put the 20,000 yuan in his hand into the mobile phone space. 24,400 yuan can at least use his skills for a while. Xiao Yao put on his shoulder bag, held the axe tightly, and looked back at the door of the kitchen. Sister Jinlian, wait for me. Miss Ezzy, you must hold on. I will go find antipyretics. Xiao Yao left the hamburger shop and saw a thick fog. Although the detection range of the detection glasses has become 5 meters in radius, the visibility of the thick fog is less than 3 meters at this time. The detection glasses cannot play all their functions and can only detect information within a range of 3 meters. Xiao Yao slowly leaned against the wall and groped to the west. After crossing the intersection, there was a street shop for calligraphy training next to it. Xiao Yao looked inside and saw some figures swaying. Now was not the time to kill zombies, so Xiao Yao did not go in to kill the zombies. Helping Izzy find antipyretic drugs was the top priority. There were 2 cars parked at the door of the calligraphy training shop. Continuing to the west was a music store. As he got closer, Xiao Yao vaguely heard a strange sound. It was definitely not music, but the sound of zombies. Xiao Yao stuck close to the car on the side of the road and listened carefully. There was a low roar of zombies in front of him, not far away, but because of the poor vision, he had no idea how many zombies were in front. It seemed that the road to the west was temporarily blocked. What should he do? The school gate was only a dozen meters away. After entering the school gate, the infirmary was to the west near the guard room, less than 100 meters away, but it was extremely difficult at this time. Xiao Yao glanced to the west. Although it was dawn, he could not see a few meters away. Xiao Yao was in a dilemma for a while. What should he do? Chapter 108 Arrival at the guard room. Judging from the sound, there must be a large number of zombies gathered at the school gate. It is very unwise to fight with the zombies outside this empty mine. On the one hand, you have to worry about the zombies' scratches and bites, and on the other hand, you have to worry about the superposition of the poisoning state. Don't forget that even if you don't fight with the zombies, Xiao Yao can only last less than half an hour. Even if you drink medicine to maintain your blood volume, when the poisoning state is superimposed to 20 layers, more than 20 drops of blood will be lost per minute. It is too late to drink medicine. What's more, there are only 11 bottles of red ginseng soup at this time, and it can't be wasted. Oh, right, Xiao Yao suddenly remembered that there was a gap in the school's barbed wire at the corner of the wall in the southeast direction of the school. You can enter the school from there. Since you can't enter the school gate, you can only look from there. Xiao Yao got up and returned the same way. Because he spent a lot of time in the thick fog, Xiao Yao went back to the hamburger shop and drank a bottle of red ginseng soup to restore his health. Xiao Yao did not go back to the kitchen. His health was fully restored, so he set off directly from the hamburger shop again. After leaving the hamburger shop, Xiao Yao went directly to the river across the road. He walked cautiously along the ramp by the river. Although there were almost no zombies on the ramp by the river, it was better to be safe than sorry. I remember that after coming out of the corner southeast of the school, although there was no bridge in the river, there was a small path paved with marble bricks in the river. The intervals between the marbles were quite wide, so that water could flow directly from the gaps between the bricks, and it could also be used as a stepping stone to walk to the other side of the river. However, because it was located in a remote area, Few people walked there. Xiao Yao bent his body and slowly moved eastward along the ramp. From time to time, one or two low roars of zombies came from the road to the south. Xiao Yao did not dare to breathe and lowered his head, fearing that the zombies would hear his voice and smell his body. Fortunately, the ramp was very steep, and the smell of urea in the thick fog became stronger and stronger, which also interfered with the zombies' sense of smell. After arriving at the marble-paved path without any danger, Xiao Yao gently stepped on the marble and slowly moved north. Suddenly, a message appeared in his vision. A LV5 character, followed by a long red box, which should be the health value. This may be a new function after the upgrade of the reconnaissance glasses. It can directly display the opponent's information without focusing the eyes. It is just a simple display of level and health value. It can't even show whether it is a zombie, let alone the combat power value. However, this is also good. At least it can display the level and health value of the opponent in groups. Xiao Yao focused his eyes on that person, and more detailed information appeared at this time. Zombie race, undead level. 5 combat power. 70 life. 610/610 inches. Xiao Yao's eyes widened. This is so special. In such a narrow place, he encountered a zombie. If it weren't for the information given by the detection glasses, Xiao Yao would have thought it was a fisherman. He saw that this zombie was wearing a bamboo hat, lowering his head, as if he was asleep, wearing a coat, sitting on a stool, and the stool was placed on the marble. He was holding a fishing rod in his hand. The fishing line of the fishing rod stretched into the thick fog. I don't know where it stretched to. I can't see the end. There is also a small bucket next to the fisherman. I don't know if there are any fish in it. There is no need to guess. This is most likely the old man who fished here before the end of the world. Fortunately, Xiao Yao walked lightly and didn't seem to disturb the sleeping zombie. This zombie happened to block the marble path. Because this path is usually unused, there are often some old men fishing here. Xiao Yao forgot about it for a while. Should I go back now? Or kill this zombie and rush over? No, I have to come out again. Ozzy can't hold on for a few hours. Xiao Yao made up his mind, held the axe tightly, and fought hard. He moved towards the zombie carefully again. When he got closer, Xiao Yao suddenly turned the axe over. The zombie with 610 drops of blood would take a while to kill. Xiao Yao didn't have time to waste. Xiao Yao aimed at the back of the sleeping zombie's head and smashed it with the axe. -46 the moment the zombie was hit, a -46 damage appeared on the top of the zombie's head. For the zombie's 610 health value, this life frame was almost not much less. However, a circle of stars appeared on the top of the zombie's head, and then the zombie fell directly into the river next to it, without making any sound. Yes, Xiao Yao no longer wanted to fight, kicked away the stool blocking the road, and the bucket containing fish was also kicked away by Xiao Yao. I asked you to fish, and then he ran forward quickly without looking back. Just now, he used a heavy attack skill, which can cause 1 second of dizziness, but a blunt weapon is required to cause dizziness, so Xiao Yao did not chop it with an axe, which would at most cause bleeding, and smashing it would have a chance of causing dizziness. As expected, Xiao Yao was not disappointed. The back of the axe hit the back of the zombie's head, causing 1 second of dizziness. Although the zombie was silent in the water, it should wake up soon, because it only lost 46 health points. For a zombie with 610 health points, this is probably just like tickling. Xiao Yao has no time to fight. After all, it is a narrow path like a narrow path. When the zombie wakes up, he may not make much money. He walked quickly through the path. Fortunately, there was no second fishing uncle. Roar. An angry roar came from the thick fog behind him, making Xiao Yao's hair stand on end. He thought that the fisherman who was attacked by him just now had woken up and was looking for him angrily. Xiao Yao did not dare to stop. While observing the situation ahead, he quickened his pace. Xiao Yao climbed up the ramp and saw the skull wall opposite. There were circles of barbed wire on the low wall. I don't know if it's to save money or they are too lazy to change the appearance. These barbed wires are the same style as the ones outside the basketball court, like they are surrounding prisoners, but this barbed wire may not be as strong as the prison barbed wire. There are gaps in many places, such as the gap in front of him, which is just big enough for one person to pass through. Originally, it could accommodate one person, but since Xiao Yao secretly climbed over it several times, the gap in the barbed wire has become larger and larger, and now it is enough to accommodate 2 people at the same time. Xiao Yao climbed up the wall, passed through the gap in the barbed wire and jumped directly into the school wall. Behind him was the sound of angry zombies getting closer and closer. It sounded like they were catching up. I don't know how they found out that I was running here. Maybe it was because of the smell of my body lingering in the air. The wall is 1 meter high. I hope the zombies can't climb over it. Xiao Yao tightly gripped the axe and moved westward along the base of the wire fence, crouching down. To the north was a school garden. He didn't know if there were any zombies. This was a good place for school lovers to have a tryst, so he should get as close to the wall as possible so as not to disturb the couple's good show. Xiao Yao carefully moved towards the guard room at the school gate, because the infirmary was still to the west of the guard room, so to go to the infirmary, he had to pass through the guard room. On the way slowly moving towards the guard room, he heard a rustling sound from the small garden in the north. Xiao Yao did not check if it was a zombie, nor did he dare to check. The purpose of this trip was to find medicine, not to kill zombies to upgrade. Xiao Yao always kept in mind that he could not linger in a fight, and moved carefully towards the guard room. Roar! Roar! As they got closer to the guard room, they could hear the low growls of zombies coming and going at the school gate from afar. Xiao Yao squatted in the corner behind the guard room. He was sure that there would be a lot of zombies at the gate. He didn't know whether the gate was closed or open. If it was after school, then the gate would definitely be open. That would be difficult. In this way, the number of zombies inside and outside would definitely be even greater. How would he get to the other side? Killing them would definitely not work. With his current mental strength, if there were too many zombies, he would not be able to kill them all, and he would be trapped, and it would be too late to save him. The poisoning state had already stacked to 15 layers, and Xiao Yao didn't have much time to think. As for the countermeasure, he must find a safe place first to cancel the poisoning state. Xiao Yao tried the window of the guard room. Oops, the window was closed. Xiao Yao pulled the windows one by one without giving up. Great, the window on the northernmost side was not closed, but he didn't know if there were zombies inside. Xiao Yao leaned on the window and looked into the guard room. There was no thick fog in the guard room, so Xiao Yao could see the situation inside clearly. There was no human figure or zombie shadow, so he couldn't be sure if there were zombies inside, but at least he could be sure that there was no thick fog in the guard room. Without thick fog, it was safe. Xiao Yao gently pushed open the window and jumped in. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109 Opening the Equipment Bar. Plop. Although Xiao Yao was already very light, his physique made a loud noise when he jumped down and stepped on the floor. Xiao Yao bent down, keeping his eyes on the surroundings. When he found that there was no unusual movement, he quickly closed the window. Huh? Xiao Yao was relieved when he found that the poisoning status under the avatar was cancelled. Without the poisoning status, his life could be slowly restored. However, for safety reasons, Xiao Yao still took out a bottle of red ginseng soup and gulped it down. Seeing that his life value was restored a little, he felt more at ease. The rest could be slowly restored with it. This is another small room in the guard room. There are 2 iron bunk beds in sight. However, at this time, there are bedding and some clothes scattered on the beds. There is no one on the bed. There are 2 tables next to it, and several sets of security uniforms are hung on the wall. After killing zombies these days, his clothes were stained with blood, and he had no way to change them. It was a good time to change into these clothes. Xiao Yao came to the wall and took down the security guard's clothes, security uniform, defense +2 in his field of vision. The clothes in Xiao Yao's hand actually increased defense. Although it was very little, it was better than nothing. However, Xiao Yao tried it, but he couldn't put it on at all. He could only put one sleeve in. The security guard's clothes were too small. Xiao Yao gave up directly. Although it could add 2 defenses, he couldn't put them on at all. There was no way. There were some security hats hanging on the wall. Xiao Yao focused his vision. Security hat, defense +1. Xiao Yao just glanced at it casually, but he didn't expect that the security guard's hat also had attributes. Xiao Yao took a look. There were a total of 5 hats, and each hat had the attribute of defense +1. Xiao Yao took off the hat and put it on his head. Don't say it, he really felt that the defense was increased. It might also be a psychological effect. Xiao Yao tried a few and found a hat with a larger size and put it on his head. As for clothes, I will bring some for Jinlian and Azzy. Although they are not good looking, at least they can increase defense. There is also a shoe cabinet below, which contains some plastic shoes. Training shoes, life plus 10, defense plus 1. These shoes increase life and defense, but Xiao Yao prefers the pair of Nike shoes on his feet that increase movement speed by 10%. However, I will also take 2 pairs for Jinlian and Azzy. Well, what size? 38. If it is too big, I can stuff some paper in it. If it is too small, I can't change it. It's better to be bigger. There are a lot of things. It seems that I can't bring so many at a time. I can only put them here first and take them when I come back. There is also a winter version of the cotton coat on the bed. Since the security uniform can increase defense, this cotton coat must also increase defense. Xiao Yao came to the bed and picked up the cotton coat. Training coat, defense plus 5. Not bad, this coat actually has plus 5 defense. Xiao Yao puts on the coat and it fits him perfectly. Generally, people choose larger sizes for coats, so this coat fits Xiao Yao just fine. There is also a belt hanging on the head of the bed next to him. Training belt, defense plus 5. Although Xiao Yao already has a leather belt on his pants, this training belt can be tied directly to the outside of clothes, to the top, that is, to the outside of the training coat. Xiao Yao directly tied it to the outside of the coat. The belt size is slightly small. He is fat to begin with, and this coat is thick. After tying the belt, Xiao Yao feels a little breathless. However, for the defense plus 5 attribute, he has to bear it. He breathed a sigh of relief, and it seems that he is not so suffocated anymore. This requires some adaptation. There was a backpack hanging on the head of the bed. Xiao Yao emptied out all the messy things inside, put all the power banks and soul locking beads in his shoulder bag into the backpack, and took 2 security hats and 2 pairs of training shoes. As for the security uniform, Xiao Yao gave up directly, because it took up too much space and affected his movements. He looked around and thought, well, this is about all the things he had looted in this room. Next to it was an aluminum alloy door with an opaque sticker on it. I wonder if there are people or zombies over there. Xiao Yao gently turned the door handle. Looking through the crack of the door, there was a shelf next to it, but no one was there. He continued to push the door open. What caught his eye was a chair, and next to it was a table facing the window. There was no one outside either. It was strange. Where did the security guards go? Xiao Yao pushed the door open and entered the small room. There were several explosion-proof shields on the cabinet in the corner, and there were also several rubber sticks on the cabinet. Explosion-proof shield, defense plus 10 rubber stick, attack plus 10, combat power plus 10. Xiao Yao picked up a rubber stick and swung it a few times, but it was not very smooth. In addition, its attributes were not as strong as the axe in his hand, so he gave up. However, this riot shield can be used together with the axe. With the axe in the right hand and the explosion-proof shield in the left hand, it can greatly reduce the direct confrontation with zombies. 10 pieces of equipment have been equipped, and a full set of weapons are equipped. Open the equipment bar. At this time, a prompt appeared in Xiao Yao's field of vision. The moment he picked up the riot shield, the equipment bar was opened. It was so simple to open the equipment bar. He only needed to equip a full set of weapons. It turns out that a full set of weapons requires 1 attack and 1 defense weapon. As for the 10 pieces of equipment, Xiao Yao seemed to have gathered them a long time ago. Xiao Yao had always thought that as long as he kept wearing the equipment, the more equipment he wore, the more equipment attributes he could increase. It turned out that there was also an equipment bar. Xiao Yao opened the equipment bar and saw that a bunch of spaces appeared around his original 3D full-body image. Some of the spaces had icons, and some did not. Xiao Yao took a look and saw weapons, shields, helmets, necklaces, breastplates, belts, pants, 2 gloves on the left and right, 2 bracelets on the left and right, 2 rings on the left and right, and medals. Now you can also equip 2 gloves, 1 bracelet, and a pair of pants. These security pants are too small. Xiao Yao can't wear them at all, so he didn't wear them. It turns out that only 1 belt is useful. At this time, the belt in the equipment column has the attributes of a leather belt, that is, the training belt tied outside the training cotton coat has no attribute bonus. Xiao Yao directly took off the training belt. Since there is no attribute bonus, why did I tie this training belt? I was suffocating. The low-quality iron ring on my finger was also taken off by Xiao Yao. It was out of this equipment column earlier. I wore 3 rings on my fat fingers, and they were almost squeezed purple and amputated. Xiao Yao directly put the ring into the backpack and went back to put it on Jinlian. Although the attack attribute is useless, it is better than nothing. There are also a bunch of long sticks next to the explosion-proof shield. Rubber eyebrow stick, attack 20-25, combat power plus 20. Oh my god, this eyebrow stick has such a high attack attribute, higher than the attack attribute of the axe in my hand. Xiao Yao picked up the stick, the riot shield in his left hand, and the stick in his right hand. He turned the rubber stick a few times, but it seemed a bit uncomfortable and was often stuck by his riot shield. This riot shield should be a set with a rubber stick. Xiao Yao opened the equipment bar, and there was only an icon of a rubber stick in the equipment bar. There was nothing in the shield bar on the right, and there were a few words, unavailable. In other words, this stick is a two-handed weapon. To equip a riot shield, you must equip a one-handed weapon, and the axe is a one-handed weapon. This riot shield is quite convenient, and it should be useful for defending against the zombies' scratches and bites. Xiao Yao didn't know what to choose for a while, axe plus riot shield, or the rubber stick with higher attack power. Chapter 110 The Stupid Woman's Cry for Help. Help. Is there anyone who can help us? Xiao Yao, who was struggling with which equipment to take, suddenly heard a cry for help from outside. Xiao Yao turned his head to identify it, and found that the sound did not come out again, and he didn't know where it came from. Who cares, he is not a savior. He can go to rescue on the way, but there is no need to take risks if it is not on the way. Xiao Yao turned his head and looked at the riot shield. Although it was very strong, Xiao Yao thought about it and directly abandoned the riot shield. This explosion-proof shield was too big and it was very inconvenient to move. This explosion-proof shield was only suitable for defense. However, he couldn't be a turtle in one place all the time. His destination was home, not here to hide and wait for rescue. Xiao Yao directly gave up the explosion-proof shield and axe. There was no way. There was not enough space on the mobile phone. There was no way to carry so many equipment. Just put it on the table in the guard room. If other survivors came to this place, they could also have a handy weapon to deal with zombies. Xiao Yao also took out 2 bottles of mineral water and put them together with his equipment. Help. Where did this brainless woman come from? Xiao Yao was puzzled. Everyone was afraid of making some noise and attracting the attention of the zombies. Who is this brainless woman? She was shouting so loudly. Even if some survivors heard her, they would go to save her. However, the zombies were not deaf. Xiao Yao, who had just chosen his weapon, found that some human figures could be seen in the thick fog outside the window. Those were the shadows of zombies. Who else could be in the thick fog if not zombies? Xiao Yao quickly squatted beside the windowsill, poked his head out, and looked outside quietly. A group of human figures could be vaguely seen outside the window, moving slowly to the north, and making low roars from their mouths. It seemed that the cry for help came from the north. Help! Is there anyone who can save us? The cry for help came again. Xiao Yao simply sat on the ground at the door. He was still struggling with how to lead away the group of zombies at the school gate. Now it seems that he doesn't need to struggle anymore. This stupid woman who suddenly appeared probably helped him. Xiao Yao is now waiting for the zombies at the school gate to be led to the place where the stupid woman called for help. In this way, he can smoothly run to the infirmary opposite. The next step is to wait. Help! Shout louder! Xiao Yao muttered quietly, and suddenly found that this stupid woman was so stupid that she was cute. After a long time, the stupid woman didn't call for help again. Maybe she was tired, or she was rescued, or she led the zombies away and was eaten by the zombies. Who knows? Xiao Yao quietly raised his head. There were no zombies in his sight, but there was still a distance of 10 meters from the guardhouse opposite. Xiao Yao was not sure whether all the zombies were led to the north, but now was the best time. The stupid woman stopped calling for help and would not make any more sounds. Then the zombies that were led over would slowly move back and fight. Xiao Yao held the rubber stick at his eyebrows. The stick always felt less safe than the axe. Is this thing really more powerful than the axe? Fortunately, the stick was longer. An inch longer is an inch stronger. Maybe this is the reason. There was no time to study it. Xiao Yao opened the door and glanced around. It was empty. It seemed that the zombies would not come back for a while. He had to hurry. Xiao Yao moved cautiously to the guardhouse on the west side. There were two guardhouses, one on the east and one on the west. The infirmary was to the west of the guardhouse on the west side, so Xiao Yao had to reach the guardhouse at the west gate first. Roar! Xiao Yao, who was slowly approaching the west guardroom, was suddenly startled by a low roar. The sound came from the south. Xiao Yao turned around and saw level 5 zombie lying on the automatic door at the door, reaching out to grab him. Xiao Yao wiped the sweat from his forehead. An automatic door could trap these brainless zombies. Xiao Yao hit the zombie on the head with a stick, and the zombie immediately became dizzy and fell to the ground. He couldn't fight to the end. The zombies in the north had just been attracted to the place where the stupid woman called for help. He couldn't attract them back because of killing zombies. Xiao Yao quickly moved towards the guard room at the west gate. Roar! The zombie that was knocked unconscious quickly woke up and then shook the automatic door at the door frantically. In fact, the automatic door was open, but this zombie was even dumber than the stupid woman and didn't know to turn the corner and walk in. Finally arrived at the guard room of the west gate, but the scene in front of him made Xiao Yao decide to go directly to the infirmary west of the guard room, because there was a big hole in the window of the west guard room. Even if there were people inside, they were zombies. Xiao Yao didn't want to kill zombies at this time. It was important to get medicine first. Roar! Passing by the guard room of the west gate, a low roar came from the room. Xiao Yao glanced and saw a zombie in security uniform lying on the window and roaring at him. The zombie's head was tilted to the side and back. I don't know if it was broken or had a stiff neck from sleeping. It looked weird. The security hat on his head seemed to be about to fall off at any time, but the strange thing was that the security hat on his head was still buckled on the zombie's head and couldn't fall off. Zombie race, undead level 5 combat power, 80 life, 620 inches. Have the zombies really evolved to level 5? This health value is probably outrageous. Don't forget that ordinary people only have 100 health points. Even if you have a mobile phone system, it is only 313 health points. This zombie is the son of the Virgin. This is not the time to complain. Xiao Yao quickly passed the guard room and walked to the infirmary in the west. Oops. Finally arriving at the infirmary, Xiao Yao was nervous. The door of the infirmary was broken, which means that even if there is someone inside, it is probably a zombie. But he had to take the antipyretic medicine. Xiao Yao held the stick tightly and slowly approached the infirmary. The infirmary was not a pharmacy, so there might not be many medicines. He hoped that there would be antipyretic medicine. Xiao Yao walked sideways through the door of the infirmary. No one was in the room. Or there were no zombies, because there was no human figure in sight. There was a row of chairs next to it, a wash basin in the corner, and a prescription table opposite it. There were some papers and medicine boxes scattered everywhere on the table and the floor. There were several beds in the small room on the left, which were usually used for intravenous drips. Xiao Yao took a look and saw that there was no one inside, just a few beds placed in a mess, and the quilt fell on the ground. Further in was the medicine warehouse, a small place of only more than 10 square meters. He hoped that there would be antipyretic medicine. Xiao Yao slowly came to the medicine warehouse and looked around. He saw that the medicines on the shelves were almost taken away, and there were still some scattered medicines. Oh my god, who took out all the medicines? Xiao Yao quickly ran to the few remaining boxes of medicine. Among the remaining medicines, antipyretic drugs must be included. Chapter 111 Antipyretic Suppositories. The medicine cabinet was small to begin with, and after someone had cleared it out, it looked even emptier. Xiao Yao quickly collected the few boxes of medicine that were left. Cefuroxime, what is this? Xiao Yao turned the box over to see the efficacy. It can treat pharyngitis and respiratory tract infections. It doesn't seem to be of much use. He looked at the second one. Declinium, it can stop itching. It can treat skin pimples. Kuaik, it can stop coughing. Why can't it reduce fever? There was one last box. It couldn't reduce fever anymore. Xiao Yao had no other choice. It only said, antipyretic suppository. Great, finally there's medicine for reducing fever. It was a pity that no antidote was found in the medicine cabinet. It seemed that his poisoning would continue for a while. A lot of time had passed. Xiao Yao put all the medicines he had searched for into his backpack. While the zombies at the school gate were attracted away, he had no choice but to leave. Xiao Yao quickly put on his backpack and prepared to leave the infirmary. There was a clothes rack behind the door of the infirmary. Xiao Yao accidentally glanced at the clothes hanging on it. Nurse uniform, life plus 10, life recovery plus 1 per minute. My special. Xiao Yao confirmed the clothes hanging on the hanger again. This clothes can increase life and also increase life recovery. Xiao Yao quickly took it off and put it in his backpack. He couldn't wear the clothes at first glance, which was a pity, but he could give it to Sister Jinlian. There was also a hat next to it, which he took off as well. Nurse hat, life plus 5. Only these 2 nurses' clothes were found here. It seems that I have to search for various equipment in the future. I don't know what equipment has special attributes. Xiao Yao did not stop. He put on his backpack and ran to the school gate while gulping down the red ginseng soup taken out from the mobile phone space. There were still 8 bottles of red ginseng soup. After drinking this bottle, there were still 7 bottles, but there was no way. If I didn't drink it, my life would be gone. While there were no zombies at the school gate, I hurried back to the hamburger shop and passed by the guard room. The zombie security guard in the guard room greeted Xiao Yao politely when he passed by, but Xiao Yao did not respond. Oh, by the way, there was still a zombie lying on the automatic door at the door. When he saw Xiao Yao coming, he reached out to grab him. Xiao Yao was too lazy to pay attention to him and ran past him. The hamburger shop was 20 meters east of the school gate. It was only 20 meters. There were no zombies blocking the road, which was just a few seconds. Xiao Yao quickly closed the door of the hamburger shop, pulled off the towel on his mouth, and breathed in the only clean air left in the hamburger shop. The health value is still 20 out of 313. If it is one step later, I am afraid that I will really become a zombie. The closer to the end, the more horrible the superimposed poisoning status is. Drinking red ginseng soup can no longer make up for the speed of blood loss. Looking at the personal status, there are 2 poisoning statuses, and the superimposed poisoning status has disappeared, leaving only 1. Fortunately, I came back alive. Although I didn't kill any zombies this time, I also brought back a lot of equipment. Xiao Yao moved the connected table and chairs and blocked the door of the hamburger shop. This can prevent those wandering zombies from accidentally entering the hamburger shop. I don't know if there are wandering zombies nearby. What if there are? Sister Jinlian, I'm back. Xiao Yao pushed open the door of the back kitchen. Xiao Yao, you are finally back. Go and see Azzy. Azzy is dying. Sister Jinlian's anxious voice came from inside. Candles were still lit in the room, and the dim light filled the back kitchen. What's going on? Xiao Yao was nervous. If Azzy couldn't make it, this trip would be in vain. More importantly, the mission would be ruined. Xiao Yao glanced at the mission and saw that it was still there. He hurriedly ran to the single bed. What's going on? Xiao Yao looked at Azzy's health value, which had dropped to 10/112. Sister Jinlian, didn't I ask you to feed Azzy a bottle of red ginseng soup every 50 minutes? Xiao Yao quickly took out a bottle of red ginseng soup, unscrewed the bottle cap and poured it into Azzy's mouth. I fed her, but Azzy didn't open her mouth now, so I couldn't feed her the red ginseng soup at all. Sister Jinlian said anxiously. No, Azzy will die soon. Xiao Yao tried. Azzy's mouth was tightly closed, and the red ginseng soup could not be poured into her. Xiao Yao was careless. This was not a game. You can drink medicine all the time, but the space in the human stomach is limited. You can't drink medicine all the time. People are also unconscious and may not be able to cooperate with you to pour medicine. Fortunately, he came back early. A few minutes later, the consequences would be disastrous. Azzy's blood bar was emptied. I don't know if she just died or turned into a zombie. Xiao Yao had no way of knowing, and he didn't dare to try. This was a living human life, not a zombie. Even if he had known Azzy for a short time and had no feelings for her, this was his own kind, both human beings. Xiao Yao would not watch Azzy die. After trying several times, he couldn't pry open Azzy's mouth. Xiao Yao quickly put down his backpack and took out the nurse's uniform from it. Come on, Sister Jinlian, lend a hand and help Azzy put it on. Xiao Yao, please think of a way. Will this work? Sister Jinlian was anxious when she saw Xiao Yao still changing Azzy's clothes at this time, but she still listened to Xiao Yao and helped Azzy change her clothes. Maybe Xiao Yao had his own way, Trust me. Xiao Yao unbuttoned the nurse's uniform. Sister Jinlian, I'll help Ozzy up. You help her put on the clothes. Xiao Yao helped Ozzy up and let Ozzy sit on the bed. Sister Jinlian took the nurse's uniform and put it on Ozzy. Because Ozzy was unconscious and didn't cooperate, it was quite difficult to put the clothes on. Fortunately, Ozzy was not as fat as Xiao Yao, otherwise it would take 10 minutes to put on the clothes. Xiao Yao glanced at Ozzy's status. Her health value had been reduced to 7/112. The health recovery of the nurse's uniform was not a buff, so he could not see whether her health was restored. Xiao Yao was not very reassured, and took off the jade ring on his hand and put it on Ozzy's hand. This jade ring originally belonged to Ozzy, but he had deceived her with a few bottles of water. He would restore Ozzy's health first. He was awake and could keep an eye on his health value at any time. At most, he could drink red ginseng soup to replenish it if it was low. 9/112 Ozzy's health value was restored. It seemed to work, but the fever status in Ozzy's status bar still did not disappear, and she was still losing 1 drop of health value per minute. It seemed that she had to take antipyretics. Xiao Yao took out the antipyretics. Sister Jinlian, the medicine warehouse of the school's infirmary seemed to have been looted by others, and only this box of antipyretics was left. I'll go boil some water, and you can see how to take this medicine. Xiao Yao went to the stove to boil water after saying that. Sister Jinlian took the antipyretics and carefully read the instructions on the box. Antipyretic suppository, rectally administer, 1 pill at a time, 3 times a day. Xiao Yao, I think you probably don't need to boil water. What's wrong, Sister Jinlian? Xiao Yao ran over immediately when he heard Sister Jinlian calling him. This is a fever-reducing suppository, not something to be taken orally. Ah. If it's not something to be taken orally, then it must be injected? But we don't have a needle. Xiao Yao felt a headache. How could he give the injection without a syringe? Exclamation mark. No need to inject. It's inserted directly into the rectum. Insert into the rectum. Xiao Yao knew what the rectum was, and it was definitely not inserted through the mouth. Well, Sister Jinlian, then this job can only be done by you. It's not convenient for a grown man like me. I know you want to do it, but I won't let you. So, go outside first. You need to take off your pants to insert the fever-reducing suppository. Of course. By the way, Sister Jinlian, put on this hat. It can add attributes to you. Don't throw it away. Xiao Yao took out a nurse's hat and put it on Sister Jinlian. Well, this makes you look more like a nurse. By the way, that white clothes is a nurse's uniform. I brought it back for you. I'll give you the clothes after Azzy's fever subsides. Go out quickly. Azzy has had a fever for a long time. We have to make her get better quickly. Okay, I'll go out right away. Xiao Yao saw that Jin Lian had already started to take off Azzy's nurse uniform. The antipyretic suppository needed to be inserted into the rectum, so the clothes had to be taken off. If the nurse uniform was taken off, there would be no life recovery. However, Xiao Yao had already given Ozzy the jade ring to wear. The life recovery exceeded the blood loss from the fever, so it was not a big problem. Forget it, don't look at it. Xiao Yao turned around and left the kitchen. Gurgle. The stomach was stealing the show again. It was not that Xiao Yao could not eat, but that he had not eaten in the morning and went directly to find medicine for Ozzy. They should be hungry too. Xiao Yao glanced at the inventory in the mobile phone space. Except for chicken, there was nothing to eat. This was not okay. Who could bear to eat this every day? Moreover, the gas tank would soon run out of gas. Without gas, there would be no way to cook. If there was no way to cook, there would be only raw chicken to eat. Raw chicken had a 50% chance of poisoning. This was absolutely not okay. The fog outside was getting thicker and thicker. Now that I went out, my initial poisoning state was level 5. The remaining 7 bottles of red ginseng soup would not last long. I had to find a nearby supermarket to survive. Otherwise eating will become a problem. However, where are the supermarkets nearby? As far as I remember, there seemed to be no supermarkets nearby because the aunt who opened the supermarket in the school seemed to have some connections with the higher-ups. All the supermarkets in front of the school were closed down. Later, she was the only one left in the school. Others did not dare to open supermarkets and could only open them farther away from the school. The nearest supermarket was also in the school. It seemed that I had to go back to school again. This time, I would take Sister Jinlian and Izzy with me. I could not bring back much food by myself, and this hamburger shop was too close to the intersection. If it was blocked in the kitchen by zombies, it would be the end of it if it ran out of food and ammunition. I would go to the school supermarket as soon as Z got better. Chapter 112. AZ wakes up. Xiao Yao looked at the thick fog outside the window. There had been no sun for 5 days. Normally, he could take a nap at noon and occasionally go out to bask in the sun. The warm sun on his face was unusually comfortable. Xiao Yao now missed the smell of the sun. It was winter, and there had been no sun for the past few days. The temperature outside was getting lower and lower. If the sun didn't come out, I wonder if this weather would freeze people to death. Xiao Yao tightened the cotton padded jacket he was wearing. Since he had put on this cotton padded jacket, he felt much warmer. It seemed that he had to get a few more of these cotton padded jackets. The down jackets that Sister Jinlian and Miss Azu wore were too thin and didn't seem to be very warm. Maybe there were cotton padded jackets for training in the guard room at the west gate of the school. He could get a few more for them. Although they didn't look good, they were warm. Xiao Yao, Xiao Yao. Xiao Yao's thoughts were interrupted by Sister Jinlian's shout from behind. Xiao Yao turned around. How is it? Is Izzy feeling better? Yes, much better already. It looks like she'll wake up soon. I'll go over and take a look. Xiao Yao was still worried, so he could only check Izzy's health through the detection glasses. Now, Xiao Yao has become extremely trusting of the information provided by the detection glasses. Name, Izzy race, human level. 1 combat power. 8, 30/112 inches. Izzy's fever really disappeared, and her health was slowly recovering. It seems that this antipyretic suppository is quite effective. Izzy should wake up soon. Water, water. Xiao Yao, who was observing Izzy, heard Izzy shouting for water in a dreamy voice. Sister Jinlian, come on, feed Izzy some red ginseng soup. Xiao Yao helped Izzy up and let her sit on the single bed. Because Izzy was not conscious at the moment, she could only rely on her body temporarily. Sister Jinlian picked up the red ginseng soup bottle next to her and put it to Izzy's mouth. When the water reached her mouth, Az instinctively found the bottle mouth and drank it. Seeing Izzy drinking the red ginseng soup on her own initiative, Xiao Yao was relieved. This way, Az would get better faster. Maybe she was really thirsty, so Izzy closed her eyes and gulped down a bottle of red ginseng soup in one breath. Izzy's health points recovered to 80/112, and she was out of danger. Xiao Yao saw that Izzy's health points had almost recovered, so he gently put Izzy down and let her rest and wait to wake up naturally. Izzy was no longer in danger at this time, and the rest was just a matter of waking up slowly. Xiao Yao took off the jade ring on Izzy's finger and put it on his own hand. He was still losing blood every minute. When he had better equipment, he would return the jade ring to Izzy. Sister Jinlian, you take care of Izzy. I'll go cook and try to move to the school supermarket in the afternoon. Supermarket. Yes, supermarket, so we can survive longer. Okay, it's up to you. Jinlian was completely focused on Xiao Yao at this time. As long as Xiao Yao made a decision, she would support him. If she couldn't help, she would try to make less trouble and give more support to Xiao Yao. This was the only thing Jinlian could do at the moment. This is also the only way. After all, if we don't find a supermarket, I'm afraid the next step is not only to defend against zombies, but also to starve. Xiao Yao didn't exaggerate. Although there were thousands of chickens in his mobile phone space, they were raw and couldn't be eaten directly. Oh, do you think there will be zombies in the supermarket? Since following Xiao Yao, Jinlian has never asked about the food. Although it is simple, at least she can eat enough. She is more concerned about the zombies and whether she can survive. In fact, Jinlian thinks that if Xiao Yao has enough food, he can find a safe place to wait for rescue, but Jinlian has never expressed her own opinions. She is more of a spiritual support for Xiao Yao. She just didn't expect that Xiao Yao didn't have much food. It seems that his glasses can't store much food. It's hard to say. Let's take it one step at a time. I won't say any more. I'm going to cook. When Ozzy wakes up, we will hurry out after dinner. Okay, you go and get busy. Jinlian knew that Xiao Yao's glasses had a function similar to the Kyankan bag. Since Xiao Yao said that there was not much food left, maybe there were not many things inside. When the detection glasses function is turned on, the mobile phone space can directly access items from the camera in the middle of the detection glasses. Therefore, Jinlian thought that this pair of glasses was Xiao Yao's artifact. Xiao Yao went directly to the gas stove and weighed the gas tank next to it. He didn't know how much gas was left. He would cook more chicken this time. He didn't know if he could cook at the next place. Xiao Yao turned on the gas stove, then took out mineral water to heat the pot and wash the pot. Now Xiao Yao was probably the only one who could use mineral water to wash the pot. There was no other way. The water supply was cut off, so he could only do this. Jinlian looked at Xiao Yao's busy figure, then turned her head to look at Izzy. In her hand, she was holding the iron ring that Xiao Yao had just given her. She didn't know what she was thinking. Just now, Xiao Yao said that this ring could increase attributes, so she put it directly in her hand. Jinlian didn't know what attributes meant. Since Xiao Yao said that it could increase attributes, she would wear it. Jinlian slowly put the ring on her finger. Although it was an iron ring, it was the first gift a boy gave her. Can a ring be given casually? Jinlian looked at the ring on her finger, which was plain but unusually warm. Where is this? Izzy's voice came from the side. Izzy, this is the kitchen of the hamburger shop. Sister Jinlian? What happened to me? Your physical condition is too poor. You are either fainting or having a fever. I'm sorry to trouble you. I'm glad you're okay. Sister Jinlian, thank you for taking care of me all the time. You should thank Xiao Yao, because he took the risk to find the antipyretic medicine for you, otherwise you wouldn't know how high your fever is now. Ah, it's that fat otaku again. Ozzy's voice became smaller and smaller, because at this moment, the fat otaku was walking towards her with chicken soup. Hurry up and drink this chicken soup, we're about to set off. Ah, we're leaving again? Where to? Ozzy didn't expect that she would have to set off right after she woke up, and she hadn't recovered yet. Let's go to the school supermarket. If we weren't waiting for you, we would have left earlier. Hurry up and drink the chicken soup. Xiao Yao was not in a good mood towards Ozzy. She was unconscious and had a fever. He was almost becoming her nanny. Xiao Yao really didn't know whether it was a gain or a loss to take on the random task from Izzy. Sister Jinlian, you should eat quickly too. Try to have all kinds of snacks from the supermarket tonight. Snacks? When Izzy heard that they had to go to the school supermarket before the evening, where there were all kinds of delicious food, she turned over all of a sudden, picked up the chicken soup on the bedside table and drank it. Hiss. The chicken soup that had just been served was already very hot, and Izzy's mouth was instantly burned and hurt. Are you stupid? Don't you know how to blow it yourself? Xiao Yao was also helpless. This Ozzy, maybe her body was awake but her mind was not. He was too lazy to care about her. Xiao Yao turned around and got another bowl of chicken soup. Sister Jinlian, here, this bowl is for you. Thank you. There's no need to be so polite between us. Xiao Yao got another bowl. He hadn't eaten in the morning and his hunger level was almost zero. Xiao Yao ate heartily without caring about his image. It would be even better if you had some beer or something. Xiao Yao thought of the Maote liquor in his mobile phone space, but forget it. They had to set off soon. If he got drunk, he couldn't do drunken boxing. Besides, there were two powerless Spartans around him. He hoped that the supermarket would have beer, drinks, mineral water, cigarettes, melon seeds and 8 treasure porridge. He had to get a bottle of it to relieve his fatigue. Thinking of the countless food waiting for him in the supermarket, Xiao Yao also quickened his eating speed. Chapter 113 Drink and Get on the Road. It was already 2 p.m., and in the back kitchen of the hamburger shop, Xiao Yao and his friends were getting ready to go. Everyone check your stuff to see if you have everything you need. Xiao Yao said as he checked his equipment, perhaps to avoid any trouble for himself. The gas tank just ran out of gas after making a bowl of chicken soup, which saved Xiao Yao from having to prepare extra chicken for the trip. This was a last-ditch effort. If he couldn't find the next place, he would have no dinner tonight. Xiao Yao handed the carving knife to Sister Jinlian. This time the dagger had a scabbard, so it was safer for Jinlian to hold it. Xiao Yao looked at Sister Jinlian in front of him. At this time, Sister Jinlian was wearing a nurse's cap and a nurse's uniform with a down jacket inside, so it looked strange. If Xiao Yao hadn't insisted, Jinlian would not have worn it. Didn't you see Ozzy's disgusted look? Just now, Ozzy refused to wear the security hat. She didn't want to wear it or not. Anyway, her life was her own. The 2 pairs of training shoes were just right for Ozzy, but Jinlian's were too big, which would affect her movements. For safety reasons, Jinlian still wore the original ordinary shoes. Xiao Yao glanced at the two people who had been initially equipped. Name: Jinlian. Race: human. Level: 1. Combat power: 36, 127/127 inches. Because Jinlian was equipped with a carving knife, her combat power was also improved. Wearing a nurse's cap and a nurse's uniform also increased her life a little, so her survival should be a little greater. Name: Aussie. Race: human. Level: 1. Combat power: 8, 90/122 inches. Aussie just wore a pair of training shoes. She was asked to wear a security helmet, but she refused to wear it. Forget it, it's useless to increase the defense by 1 point. If she doesn't want to wear it, then don't wear it. Xiao Yao didn't have so many requirements for Aussie, because he didn't care about her at all. If it wasn't a mission, who would it be? Therefore, Xiao Yao didn't bother to care about her. If he cared too much, he wouldn't be angry enough. So Aussie's health value only increased by 10 points. Seeing that Aussie's health value was still short of a point, Xiao Yao handed Aussie a bottle of red ginseng soup. Aussie, drink this bottle of red ginseng soup now. If the health value is not full, there will inevitably be mistakes on the road. Xiao Yao doesn't dare to give Aussie the jade ring now. What if Aussie doesn't give it to him? Xiao Yao can't snatch things from a little girl. Seeing that Aussie walked a little awkwardly, Xiao Yao wanted to laugh. People who didn't know would think that he had done something to her. Seeing that she had just recovered from the fever, he didn't get angry with her at this time. Ah, you're still drinking? Yes, I'll be on my way after you finish drinking. Why does that sound weird? You're not going to poison me, are you? If I want to poison you, do I need to risk finding you antipyretic medicine? I'll just ignore you. Is there any need to go to such lengths? Who knows, you fat Oedipus just like this. I'm relieved now, right? Xiao Yao turned away and took a sip. You've had enough, I won't. If you keep on dragging your feet, I'll just leave you alone. I'll drink, isn't it okay? Aussie grabbed the red ginseng soup, closed her eyes and gulped it down, cursing Xiao Yao 100,000 times in her heart. Xiao Yao looked at Aussie in front of him, drinking with her head tilted up, the red ginseng soup flowing down the corners of her mouth, soaking Aussie's clothes. He gave Aussie the red ginseng soup he had drunk. Was this considered an indirect kiss? Xiao Yao thought that he had even given Sister Jinlian artificial respiration before, so this was nothing. This is okay, right? Aussie finished drinking the red ginseng soup and turned the bottle upside down to show Xiao Yao. There were only a few drops left. Well, it's okay. Xiao Yao was relieved temporarily as he watched Aussie's health slowly recover. What a pervert. Aussie muttered in a low voice. Xiao Yao didn't bother to pay attention to her. He finished drinking the rest of the red ginseng soup. There were still 6 bottles left in his hand. It seemed that he had to use them sparingly. Wrap a towel around your mouth, so that you can live a few more seconds. Xiao Yao took the lead and wrapped a towel around his mouth. Although it didn't do much, it at least reduced the pungent smell of the thick fog. Jinlian and Aussie also wrapped towels around their mouths. Xiao Yao saw that they were done, so he raised the stick in his hand. Target school, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Aussie responded happily. Keep your voice down. We're not going on a trip. Xiao Yao turned around and glared at Aussie, saying viciously, you must keep quiet on the road, otherwise I won't forgive you. Oh, I see. Why are you so fierce? Aussie pouted. The officials are allowed to set fires, but the people are not allowed to light lamps. Why did you call me here? I'm just cooperating with you. You're really a pervert. Xiao Yao shook his head and ignored her. When he got to a safe place, he must keep Aussie as soon as possible. This little gangster girl would make him tremble with fear every day if he kept her around, for fear that she would cheat him one day. Sister Jinlian smiled with her lips pursed. You guys are really brave to argue in such a tense doomsday environment. Do you still remember the formation? What formation? Aussie asked with a puzzled look. Eagle catches chicken formation. Jinlian and Aussie did not respond, with dotted lines above their heads. Does this formation really work? But they still held Xiao Yao's clothes on his back. There was no other way, because Xiao Yao was the captain. After leaving the hamburger shop, Xiao Yao held a stick to his eyebrows with both hands, bent over and walked slowly to the west along the wall. It had been so long, who knew if the zombies at the school gate had come back again? Besides, there was still a zombie stuck on the door, so he couldn't just run over at this time. Help! The team that was slowly moving towards the school gate suddenly stopped, because at this time there was a woman's cry for help in the school. Judging from the voice, it should be the stupid woman who asked for help in the morning. It's really stupid. Xiao Yao muttered in a low voice. Someone. Ozzy whispered, fearing that her voice would be too loud and Xiao Yao would scold her again. Now that she could hear the voice of a living person, she was so happy. A living person meant hope. Xiao Yao, are we going to save her? Jin Lian was not so excited. She just followed Xiao Yao's advice. If Xiao Yao wanted to save her, then she would save her. If Xiao Yao didn't go, she wouldn't go either. After all, Xiao Yao was the only one who could save her. She couldn't even protect herself and had to rely on Xiao Yao for protection. Xiao Yao was still struggling whether to go and see. Before he could answer, there was a terrible shout, bang. There was a sound of a heavy object falling to the ground, roar. Then there were the excited roars of the zombies. The last scream of that stupid woman came from there, and then it slowly disappeared. After a while, there was no more cry for help from that stupid woman. Jinlian and Azu were silent behind Xiao Yao. From the sound, it seemed that the woman had jumped off the building. No one rescued her. Maybe she jumped off the building in despair and ended her life. The whole team was unusually quiet. The two women followed quietly. Jinlian pulled Xiao Yao's clothes and Azu pulled Jinlian's clothes. The team was moving slowly. Azu looked at Xiao Yao's back. Although there was Sister Jinlian between them, Xiao Yao's body could be seen through Sister Jinlian. At this moment, this fat body was so safe. If she hadn't waited for rescue, would she have chosen suicide to end her life like that woman? Now, it was Xiao Yao who gave her hope of life. Should she really be nicer to Xiao Yao? Roar. A zombie roared from the front, which made Azu shiver all over. She couldn't help but tighten her hand holding Sister Jinlian's clothes on the back. If she had a better relationship with Xiao Yao, I should be the one holding Xiao Yao's clothes now. Chapter 114, Even being cannon fodder requires strength. Zombie race, undead level. 5 combat power. 79 health. 619 inches bang. The zombie in front of Xiao Yao was the one that was originally stuck on the automatic door at the school gate. There were no other zombies around, so Xiao Yao was not polite. When the zombie was about to reach out to grab him, he directly hit the zombie on the head. The zombie immediately went into dizzy state. If the strength attribute is higher than the opponent, it seems that this first hit is 100% dizzy. I saw a critical damage of -91 appear on the top of the zombie's head, and a circle of small stars was spinning. Then the zombie staggered and pounced in front of Xiao Yao, landing on his face first. I don't know if you will knock out a few front teeth. I'll take your life while you're sick. Xiao Yao quickly swung the stick at the zombie. The back of the zombie's head was hit twice more quickly. Although Xiao Yao felt that the head was the hardest part of the zombie, the damage to the zombie's head was also the highest. This might be both the zombie's weakness and the zombie's highest defense. -91 to 91 appeared on the zombie's head again. Although the heavy attack skill could not cause dizziness, for the defenseless zombie at this time, the sticks were critical hits. Unfortunately, although the eyebrow high stick caused a critical hit, it was not a sharp weapon, so it could not cause bleeding. Even if the zombie's head was already flowing with dark red pus and blood, it was not considered a bleeding state. Roar. The zombie had been dizzy for 1 minute and had woken up. He opened his wide eyes and slowly looked up to see who was attacking him. He found that he was being attacked by a living person in front of him and made an extremely angry sound. What are you yelling about? Xiao Yao didn't care about anything and just hit the wound on the top of the zombie's head with a club. He only attacked a little so that he could continue to expand the injured area. 913838. Roar. Roar. The zombie was lying on the ground and every time he tried to get up, he was knocked to the ground by Xiao Yao's club like a storm. Experience plus 61 gold plus 61 low quality blood essence plus 1 when the zombie's health bar was emptied and the experience increased in Xiao Yao's vision. Xiao Yao knew that this zombie was really dead. Huh? Xiao Yao took a short breath. His arms were a little sore from the rapid output. It was not advisable to stay here for a long time. Although this zombie had not roared much before he was beaten to death by his club, it would be miserable if he was discovered by other zombies, especially when there was a zombie waiting to be killed not far away. Roar. No need to guess, This must be the security zombie in the west guard room roaring. He has been roaring since he killed the zombie at the door, but there is not much time to kill him now. Although his health is very high and he can survive in the thick fog for dozens of minutes without turning into zombies, he is accompanied by two ordinary people with only 112 and 122 health points. Therefore, he must quickly find a closed small room to cancel the poisoning state. The windows of the west guard room are broken, and the room is also poisonous. Even if he kills the security zombie, if the zombies come and block the door, he will be finished. Let's go, follow me. The two women behind him didn't know whether they were scared by the zombies or by the way Xiao Yao killed the zombies. They buried their faces in their backs as if there were no zombies in the outside world. They didn't dare to say anything. Xiao Yao looked back and saw that the two were still there. He turned around and walked towards the guard room in the east. Now the nearest safe house was only the guard room in the east. After Jinlian and Aziz's poisoning superposition status was cancelled, they moved immediately. After opening the door of the guard room in the east, Xiao Yao quickly entered the room. After the two women behind him entered the room, he quickly closed the door. Are we there yet? Jinlian glanced at the room. Since she left the hamburger shop, she had been holding Xiao Yao's clothes, lowering her head, and didn't look anywhere else. At this time, she was taken to a room without thick fog. Jinlian thought she had arrived at the school supermarket, but Jinlian looked around the room and it seemed to be a security room. Not yet, we have to rest for a while. Xiao Yao looked at the two women looking around like they were visiting a tourist attraction. This was not a good idea. The formation of the eagle catching the chicken seriously affected his flexibility. Moreover, they kept their heads down and followed him, and they could not find the surrounding situation at all. After all, he only had two pairs of eyes and could not see 360 degrees around him. He had to let them protect themselves. Great, I didn't expect that there was water here. Az saw the two bottles of mineral water on the table and was about to take them up to drink. Don't touch those, drink this one. Xiao Yao immediately stopped Az from taking the two bottles of mineral water. It was not that the mineral water was poisonous. He had put the mineral water there originally, but it was left for other survivors passing by. Moreover, Az also had to replenish her health immediately, so Xiao Yao handed him the red ginseng soup. You are really careful, but thank you, brother Xiao Yao. Az had already started to try to be polite to Xiao Yao. You're welcome. Xiao Yao also handed a bottle to Jinlian. Sister Jinlian, you can add some too. But, brother Xiao Yao, I'm a little curious, where did you get this drink from? We've already drunk more than 10 bottles, how much do you have? There's a truck to the north of your barber shop, with a lot on it, but I don't have much left. We're going to the supermarket now, and it wouldn't be wise to risk going to the truck to the south to get it. Xiao Yao lied a little. Every time he took the red ginseng soup in front of Az, he used his backpack as a cover. Xiao Yao had already thought of a countermeasure. Xiao Yao glanced at the axe and explosion-proof shield on the table, as well as the riot shields and rubber sticks in the corner. He had to change the subject. Too much talk leads to mistakes, and one lie must be filled with countless lies. Sister Jinlian, Miss Az, our formation is too slow to move. You all rely on me to observe the surroundings, and I can only see the front, and there is no way to see the surroundings. I can't find danger in the first time, so I plan to improve the formation. Az, you take this riot shield, and you are responsible for my right side. Sister Jinlian, you also take this eyebrow-high stick like me, and give me the carving knife first. The attack range of the carving knife is too short, and it is not suitable for fighting zombies. Xiao Yao took the carving knife from Jinlian's hand and put it on his belt. The attack attribute of this carving knife is still quite high. With it, you can also cut apples or something, although I haven't eaten apples for a long time. I also want to take the stick. Az said. No, one person must take the riot shield, so that if a zombie pounces on us, we can resist it. You know, if you are caught by a zombie, you will become a zombie. Then let Sister Jinlian take the riot shield, and I'll take the stick. Sister Jinlian, what do you think? I'm fine with either. I'll just take the riot shield. Okay, then Az, you take the riot stick. Remember, your mission is just to defend, not to kill zombies. Even if you take the riot stick, you can't deal with zombies. I'll deal with the zombies. Since you're defending, why don't you take 2 riot shields? Az asked carefully. Although she didn't like taking riot shields, Why should she take stick since she could also defend? Let's put it this way. Even if I ask you to take riot shields, you can't defend against the zombies. I'm just asking you to hold them for me. Don't worry about anything. Just follow me closely. Pay more attention to the surrounding situation. If there is any situation, notify me as soon as possible. In this way, we can escape from danger as soon as possible. Are you kidding? Even if two girls hold riot shields, can they go to the front to defend? It's probably not enough for a zombie to kill one claw. Don't think it's dangerous for Xiao Yao to kill a zombie alone. Xiao Yao is level 13. Can he compare with ordinary humans at level 1? The initial attributes of zombies are 5 times that of ordinary humans, not to mention that the primary zombies are all level 5 and up. Asking them to defend against zombies is like trying to stop a chariot with a mantis arm or hitting a rock with an egg. Asking them to hold a weapon and a shield will only give them some psychological comfort. At present, these two women are not even qualified to be cannon fodder. Being cannon fodder also requires strength. The problem is that, so far, Xiao Yao still doesn't know how ordinary humans upgrade. If ordinary humans cannot upgrade, then death is only a matter of time. Chapter 115 Time Limited Mission. I know, Captain Xiao Yao. Ozzy pouted, you are right. Then she started to play with a stick in her hand. After playing with the stick twice, she didn't control the direction well and almost hit Sister Jinlian on the head. Ozzy hurriedly apologized. I'm sorry, Sister Jinlian, I didn't hit you, did I? No, but Ozzy, if I did something wrong, just tell me directly, don't use the stick to scare me. Now it seems that I am right to hold the riot shield. I am not defending against zombies, but you, the time bomb. If it doesn't work, you should still hold the riot shield. Jinlian was also frightened by Ozzy. Anyone who is almost hit by a stick will be frightened. Sister Jinlian, you are making fun of me again. Ozzy stuck out her tongue and showed an awkward but polite smile. Xiao Yao shook his head. Ozzy was simply not good enough to do things, but more of a hindrance. He even regretted letting her hold the stick. Is it really okay for her to hold the stick? Even if you can't help kill zombies, don't let them hit you with a stick. Forget it. When the time comes, pay more attention. After all, you are human beings and should have brains. Let's go to the house. There are few training cotton coats in the house. You all change into them. Squeak, Xiao Yao pushed open the door. Inside was the resting place for the security guards. Xiao Yao directly skipped the security uniforms hanging on the wall. Those were autumn clothes. They were not warm at all and had little defensive properties. Xiao Yao now took Jinlian and the others to get the training cotton coats. This way, they would keep warm and increase defense. There were 3 training cotton coats on the bed in the north. Xiao Yao directly asked Z and Jinlian to wear one each. The remaining one was left untouched and was still on the bed. There was no place to take it, and there was no need to take it. You change your clothes, I'll wait for you outside. Call me when you're done, we'll leave right away. Xiao Yao opened the door and went outside. It's better not to watch girls changing their clothes. Although he had a little urge to watch, Xiao Yao extinguished it instantly. He was a man who was going to be the king of the apocalypse, so how could he be so obsessed with this hobby? The whispers of 2 women could be heard from inside the room. Wow, this clothes smells so bad, I don't want to change it. Ozzy, change it quickly. Xiao Yao said to change, he must have his reasons. Didn't you see he's wearing it? He must have picked a non-stinky one for himself. Come on, wear this one. Well, this one is okay. Although it also has a smell, it's not that smelly. How about the other one? Ozzy picked up another one. Wow, this one smells even worse. I'm about to vomit when I smell it. I want yours, I want yours. Ozzy took the training cotton coat that Sister Jinlian handed to her. Thank you, Sister Jinlian. Don't worry, I have a stick, and I will protect you when the time comes. As for you, it's a blessing that you don't make trouble. Jinlian picked up the relatively lighter-smelling clothes and frowned. Fortunately, she was wearing a nurse's uniform inside to block the smell. Don't worry, I didn't grasp the direction just now, there will definitely not be a next time. Next time, don't hold the stick, and hold the riot shield honestly. Don't worry, there will definitely not be a next time. There was no voice inside, followed by a rustling sound of changing clothes. After a while, the door opened, Xiao Yao looked back, and the first person to come out was Sister Jinlian. Although the training cotton coat was a bit big, it was okay, just like a down jacket. Sister Jinlian was wearing a nurse's uniform inside, which was longer than the training cotton coat, so Xiao Yao could still see the nurse's uniform exposed underneath. Jinlian was wearing a nurse's cap on her head. Xiao Yao looked and found that Sister Jinlian's health points were still the same. It seems that Sister Jinlian's breastplate defaulted to the nurse's uniform, which means that the training cotton coat at this time no longer has attribute bonuses. Forget it, it's not bad to keep warm. At this time, AZ also came out, wearing a looser training cotton coat and a crooked security hat on her head, looking like a puppet soldier. Puff. Xiao Yao couldn't hold it back. Ozzy's current posture made her look like a traitor who was mixed in the revolutionary team. HMPH, you stinky Xiao Yao, what are you laughing at? Nothing. Xiao Yao turned his head. Why did he always feel that Ozzy's IQ was a little bit behind? Ozzy, your hat is crooked. Jin Lian wanted to laugh when she saw Ozzy's look, so she helped her put it on. If you laugh again, I won't wear it. Whatever, if you don't wear this hat, you will just die faster. It's none of my business. Xiao Yao didn't lie. The security had only increased defense by 1, but what if it was this defense that determined life and death? HMPH, you just know how to scare me. Ozzy adjusted her security hat by herself. Maybe it was really like what Xiao Yao said, this hat would protect herself, so she should wear it. Xiao Yao looked at Ozzy, who had adjusted her clothes, like an underage child wearing adult clothes to the front line. This little girl opened a barber shop in the south. Logically, her style should belong to that kind of, well, how should I put it, the type of charming, right? After all, that street is not just a street for haircuts. But why is Ozzy in front of me different from what I imagined? She looks like a rebellious little girl, like a daughter of a rich family who has come out to experience. Maybe, it may be to deal with people with different tastes. However, Xiao Yao is really not interested in seeing the thick non-mainstream makeup on Ozzy's face. It's the end of the world. She makes up like a ghost. Does she want to scare me to death and inherit my Huabi? Or does she want to scare the zombies to death? Win without fighting? Is Ozzy able to survive because she was mistaken for the same kind by the zombies? If it weren't for the information given by the detection glasses, showing that this is a human, Xiao Yao would have thought that this is a new species of zombies and people believe it. Inexplicably, I think of the jokes on the internet. Come, it's time to eat a brain-dead movie. Xiao Yao shook his head, shaking off these messy thoughts. How could he think about useless things now? The zombies outside would be surrounded at any time. He had to move to the supermarket immediately. There was still one bottle of red ginseng soup. Yes, there was one last bottle. In order to restore everyone to full health, there was only one bottle of red ginseng soup left. He had to fight to the death. Sister Jinlian, AZ, we have no way out. We must reach the supermarket before tonight. Sister Jinlian, do you remember what I said to you? What? Oh, remember, Xiao Yao, please take us to the school supermarket before tonight. Random task, lead Jinlian to the school supermarket, experience plus 1000, money plus 1000, red ginseng soup plus 10. The remaining task deadline is 3 hours. What? There is a task deadline. The random task prompt that appeared in the field of vision actually showed the remaining task deadline. Brother Xiao Yao, please take us to the school supermarket before tonight. I want to eat a lot of delicious food. Ozzy also imitated Jinlian and said it again. Random task, lead Ozzy to the school supermarket, experience plus 1000, money plus 1000, red ginseng soup plus 10. The remaining task deadline is 3 hours. 2 random tasks were superimposed, and Xiao Yao smiled bitterly, not knowing whether to cry or laugh. He laughed because the red ginseng soup was found, and there were 20 bottles in total. He cried because this time the task was given a countdown. Xiao Yao looked at the time, which meant that he had to arrive at the supermarket before 6 o'clock in the evening. Xiao Yao really wanted to slap himself in the face. Why did he insist on arriving at the supermarket before tonight? He was asking for trouble. If he couldn't arrive tonight, the mission would be a failure. Although there doesn't seem to be any task penalty at the moment, he would be very painful if he failed. The experience and money rewarded by the task are secondary. Those 20 bottles of red ginseng soup are life-saving medicine, but they are the most lacking strategic materials now. Even if someone put 1 million in front of him, He would not exchange these 20 bottles of red ginseng soup. Even if it was 10 million, he wouldn't do it, or 100 million, right? If someone is really willing to exchange it for 100 million, well, you can consider it for a moment. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116, All Sticks Replaced. Xiao Yao glanced at the 2 random tasks. Although the rewards were tempting, the time was a little tight. However, Xiao Yao no longer hesitated. Since the task had been issued, he could only complete it as much as possible. So, we will change from the original long snake eagle catching chicken team to a human-shaped team. Jinlian, you are behind me on the left, and Ezzy, you are behind me on the right, forming a human-shaped team, or a character. Now you don't have to hold my clothes, just follow me closely, don't be too far away, stay alert, and pay attention to the surrounding situation at any time. Xiao Yao explained this new formation to the 2 of them. Okay. Jinlian nodded, indicating that she understood. Brother Xiao Yao, are we geese? Sometimes we form a human-shaped team, and sometimes we form a straight line. Azzy asked Xiao Yao with her big eyes with dark circles flashing. Xiao Yao didn't respond to Azzy, but what she said seemed to be true. Everything is fine, right? If there is no problem, let's go and try to get to the supermarket as early as possible to have a good meal tonight. Yet Azzy excitedly raised her eyebrow high stick, and Jinlian also smiled. They haven't eaten different kinds of food for too many days. Eating chicken every day is unbearable. It's too greasy. If I eat chicken now, I'm afraid I will vomit directly. It's so greasy that I feel sick. Azzy raised her eyebrow high stick and almost poked Xiao Yao again. Xiao Yao glared at Azzy hatefully. Hold the stick well. I hope that when we kill zombies, your stick will not attack your teammates. However, Azzy was equipped with an eyebrow high stick, and her combat power had increased to 33 at this time. Because Sister Jinlian was holding an explosion-proof shield, although the explosion-proof shield added 10 defense, the combat power value did not seem to include the defense attribute, so Sister Jinlian's combat power was still 10. Xiao Yao thought about it. Why not let Sister Jinlian also hold an offensive weapon? In fact, it is really useless to let Sister Jinlian hold a riot shield. If the riot shield is used, it means that the zombies are very close to us, or even have surrounded us. In that case, what's the use of the riot shield? It will just make us die slower. It is better to let Jinlian hold a stick. This stick can at least increase 20-25 attacks, which is much more useful than the 10 defenses of the riot shield. Even an ordinary human at level 1 can increase 20-25 attacks with it. Don't forget that your own attacks are only 35-38, and the attribute bonus of level 13 only adds 13 more attacks, while one weapon can increase nearly 30 attacks. At present, your only advantage is that you have more health points. It is possible to see the attributes of zombies, but this advantage is not obvious. Thinking of this, Xiao Yao suddenly had an idea. Ordinary humans equipped with weapons can kill zombies. Although Jinlian and Azzy are both level 1, 2 people attacking at the same time can cause 40-50 damage. The combined attack of 2 people is higher than that of 1 person. Xiao Yao completely ignored this problem. He always wanted to protect them. After all, they were only level 1. But then he thought about it. They were equipped with weapons, which was not much different from him. Except that they could not see the attributes. They could be used as a fighting force. He could keep an eye on their health at any time. If there was danger, he could just let them retreat immediately. In this way, 3 people, each with a stick, can cause the zombies to lose 77-88 health points in the first round. In addition to the stun of their own skills, if they are lucky enough to get a critical hit or a fatal hit, the zombies can lose nearly 300 health points in the 1 minute of stun. For the lone zombies, there is no need to run away now. Thinking of this, Xiao Yao directly said to Sister Jinlian, Sister Jinlian, you should also take the stick, and put the riot shield here. Why did you change your mind again? Jinlian asked in confusion. I think that if the 3 of us each hit the zombies with a stick, the zombies will be crippled if not dead, which is much faster than killing them alone. Okay, but can we really do it? I believe you can. Come, take this stick. Xiao Yao handed Jinlian a stick. Put the riot shield here. This equipment is too big and affects the movement too much. Okay. Jinlian put down the riot shield, took the stick, and glanced at Izzy. Xiao Yao glanced at the few people. All three of them were wearing security training coats. Except for Sister Jinlian, who was wearing a nurse's cap, he and Izzy were wearing security caps. Moreover, everyone's clothes did not match. Sister Jinlian was wearing a nurse's coat, and Izzy's coat was too big. He was also wearing Nike shoes and jeans. The sizes did not match. It looked out of place. It was a completely inferior pseudo-military combination. Xiao Yao shook his head. Who cares? At least, this was the best equipment Xiao Yao and his team could equip now. Next, they set off for the supermarket, and they had to plan to go to the supermarket. In memory, the school supermarket was straight north from this road, and at this time, the sound of the woman who jumped from the building was in the north. Therefore, there might be a group of zombies in the north, and the number was uncertain, because there might not only be people passing by the school gate, but also from other places. Going directly to the north was already very irrational at this time. Glancing outside the door, there were no zombies within the visible range, but they could not be careless, because the zombies might return to the store again at any time. Let's go. Xiao Yao turned around and nodded to the two of them. Several people wrapped towels around their mouths in tacit understanding. Xiao Yao turned around and pushed open the door. The two women followed quickly. Xiao Yao didn't say where he was going. He went directly to the guard room on the west side. The two women followed closely at this time. Jinlian behind him didn't forget to close the door. Xiao Yao said that the thick fog was poisonous. If you can't find a suitable place to stay, you can come back to this room. If you don't close the door and the thick fog goes in, it won't be a place to stay. There is a security zombie in the guard room on the west side. While the zombies haven't come back, it's a good time to try and see how effective it is if three people attack at the same time. Roar. When they came to the broken window of the west gate guard room again, the security zombie waved to Xiao Yao and the others enthusiastically. Because Xiao Yao didn't come alone this time, he also brought two beauties. The security zombie was so excited that he almost jumped out of the window. Come on, the three of us will attack this zombie together. Remember, only hit the head, don't hit other places. Is it starting now? Jinlian was still a little nervous. Seeing the zombie in security uniform in front of her with bared fangs and claws, she didn't know how to start. Chapter 117 Killing the Security Zombie. I'll go first. Ozzy was not so polite and hit the zombie's head with a stick first. Xiao Yao saw from his reconnaissance glasses that a -23 damage floated out from the zombie's head. It seemed that they could not be expected to hit a critical hit. However, at least it proved that his guess was valid. Equipped with weapons, these level 1 humans could also cause considerable damage to zombies. Roar. The security zombie was so angry that he became more agitated when he saw the beautiful woman in front of him attacking him. If this was not a window but a door, maybe this zombie would have broken the door. Be quiet. Xiao Yao hit the security zombie's head with a stick. A critical hit and stun. The security zombie fainted directly and lay on the windowsill. Xiao Yao did not stop, and took advantage of the opportunity to continue to hit him with a stick. Jinlian, Ozzy, don't stop either, and greet the zombie's head. Okay, Ozzy excitedly took the stick and hit the zombie's head. -20 to 21 Miss Ozzy, pay attention to the rhythm, don't hit my stick. Xiao Yao didn't expect that Ozzy's stick would basically hit his stick. If the stick was not made of rubber, it would have been broken by Ozzy long ago. Xiao Yao had to control the rhythm and stagger with Ozzy. Hurry up, Jinlian, think about it. If you don't kill the zombies will eat you. Are you waiting to be eaten by zombies? They are no longer human. Xiao Yao glanced at Jinlian and found that she was holding the stick at a loss. He hurriedly enlightened Jinlian. Xiao Yao knew that everything had a first time. The first time he killed a zombie, he didn't feel good, but there was no way. Zombies are not vegetarian animals. There will be more opportunities to deal with zombies in the future. Either the zombies die or the zombies die. Thinking of this, Xiao Yao speeded up the speed of swinging the stick. Although it was to test the effect of 3 people attacking at the same time, this time it was just to let them start the first step of killing zombies. This place is not a place to stay for a long time. This zombie must be killed as soon as possible. Jinlian was still at a loss as to how to start. Xiao Yao glanced to the right and was almost shocked by Ozzy at this moment. Ozzy was fighting with great joy at this moment. She was not frightened by the zombies at all. Was this little girl born with excessive violence? She was even more fierce than the first time he fought zombies, and she seemed to have no mental pressure at all. Come on, aren't you fainting at blood? Jinlian seemed to have thought it through. She shouted loudly, then raised her stick and smashed it on the zombie's head. A-46 critical damage floated out from the zombie's head. Maybe it was because she used too much force, or maybe it was an angry blow, but Jinlian actually had a small critical hit. Don't shout, it will attract zombies. Xiao Yao reminded in a low voice. I'm sorry. Jinlian stuck out her tongue. Unexpectedly, Jinlian also had this side. Don't stop, the zombie is not dead, it's just fainted and will wake up soon. Xiao Yao found that Jinlian actually stopped to apologize to him. He couldn't stop at this time. He had to output as much as he could. I'll smash you to death, you stinky zombie, I'll smash you to death, you damn Xiao Yao. Ozzy shouted while attacking crazily. Huh? Why are you shouting to smash me to death? Xiao Yao's ears are not deaf. Did Ozzy shout the wrong thing? Smash you to death, smash you to death. Ozzy ignored Xiao Yao, as if the security zombie who fainted on the windowsill opposite was Xiao Yao. Roar. The angry zombie finally woke up from the dizziness, and most of his health points were gone. Xiao Yao didn't care whether he woke up or not, and continued to attack. Seeing this wave of team battle, he almost killed the security zombie in seconds, but he was just a little short of health points. The zombie raised his head and saw that several delicious foods in front of him were actually attacking him, and roared angrily. Deep in the thick fog, there was also a roar of zombies, as if responding to this zombie. The zombie raised his head, and dark red blood plasma slowly flowed down his cheeks. His white eyes stared at Xiao Yao and the others. The security hat on his head also fell off the zombie's head because he raised his head. At this time, Xiao Yao found that the back of the zombie's head had been smashed by a stick, and the skull was opened and drooped to one side, but the zombie was not dead, because the health value was still more than 200. Fortunately, the zombie had October 10, 2010 bleeding damage on his body. Although the stick could not cause bleeding damage, the zombie's head was smashed. If there was no bleeding damage, I'm afraid the system is too inhumane. The two women who had been madly outputting just now didn't notice that the zombie's head had been smashed open. At this time, they were scared by the terrifying appearance of the awakened security zombie and almost threw away the stick. Even if he didn't attack, this zombie shouldn't last for a few minutes, but Xiao Yao couldn't wait for a few minutes and continued to smash the zombie's head. After a few hits, the zombie's health was emptied. It swayed and fell directly on the windowsill, never to get up again. Experience plus 62, money plus 62, inferior blood essence plus 1. A series of prompts flashed by, and the zombies were completely dead. The zombie lying on the windowsill just turned its head, which had been opened, towards Xiao Yao and the others. From this angle, the zombie's brain, which looked like a bean brain, could already be seen. Ugh. Ugh. The two women around him pulled down the towels around their mouths and vomited directly beside them. Xiao Yao ignored them. They didn't vomit directly into the towels, and they knew that it was good to pull it down. If they vomited into the towels, they could eat it directly and save a meal. Let them get used to it. The ground was empty, and the security zombie didn't drop any good things. Was the drop rate so low? Or were these zombies very poor? Should I kill the richer zombies? Xiao Yao pushed open the door directly and took advantage of the fact that no zombies came to see if there were any good things here. There was a shelf in the corner of the room, on which were also several rectangular riot shields, but instead of sticks that reached the top of the eyebrows, they were long sticks, but with a semicircular shape in front. Explosion-proof fork, attack 5, combat power plus 5. The attack power of this explosion-proof fork was too weak, so I passed it directly. Next to the explosion-proof shield was a round riot shield the size of a frying pan. Explosion-proof shield, defense plus 5, but the defense was even smaller, so what was the point of it? However, this shelf had a few more pieces of equipment, including a few azure iron helmets with the word security written on them. Explosion-proof helmet, defense plus 10. This is good. Xiao Yao took off his original security hat and put on this explosion-proof helmet. There were also several pairs of gloves on the shelf, cut-resistant gloves, defense plus 5. Xiao Yao pulled it. He didn't know what material these gloves were made of. Anyway, they looked very sturdy. He happened to have no gloves yet, so he put on a pair. There were several sets on the shelf, just right for Jinlian and Aziz to change into. Xiao Yao turned around and saw that Jinlian had almost vomited at this time. She was already looking up at Xiao Yao. Xiao Yao waved for them to come in. You all put on this explosion-proof helmet. Sister Jinlian, don't wear that nurse hat anymore, wear this. Aziz, you also put on this explosion-proof helmet, and put on the cut-resistant gloves as well. After Xiao Yao finished speaking, he continued to search other places to see if there were any good things. There was a book on the table. It seemed that this security zombie was a cultured person. There was also a flashlight next to it. Well, it was a square rechargeable flashlight. Xiao Yao tried it and it seemed to still have power. Take it away, take it away. There was also a big speaker in the cabinet on the table. Take it away, take it away. Roar. A zombie roar not far away interrupted Xiao Yao's idea of continuing the sweep. From the sound, it was very close. Xiao Yao looked back and saw that Jinlian and Aziz had already put on gloves and helmets. He waved his hand and said, retreat. Chapter 118, Thunderbolt Whirlwind Slash. Roar. Another zombie roar came, and it sounded as if it was close at hand. The zombie roar came from the north, so they couldn't go to the north. Xiao Yao and his team didn't stop and quickly moved to the west. The west should be the school cafeteria. They went to the school cafeteria to rest first, and then went back to the supermarket in the north. After all, they had been in the thick fog for a long time, so they had to find a safe small room to cancel the poisoning state first. Xiao Yao and his team followed the school wall and quietly moved towards the cafeteria in the west. Not long after they left, a group of zombies staggered and occupied the school gate again. They were all attracted by the roar of the security zombie just now. If Xiao Yao and his team left a step later, this group of zombies would not be able to be killed even if Xiao Yao activated his ultimate move, Thunderbolt Whirlwind. As expected, it was different from what he remembered. Xiao Yao and his companions walked west along the wall and came to a small building after walking for a dozen steps. As far as he remembered, there was no building in the school. No matter whether it was the woman who jumped off the building or the small building in front of him, they were all beyond Xiao Yao's memory. Xiao Yao had no idea what this building was used for, but there was not much time to study it carefully. He decided to go in first. Roar. Roar. Not far ahead, a few low growls of zombies were faintly heard. Xiao Yao quickly turned around and moved forward from the other side of the building. Although it was almost certain that the three of them could kill the zombies alone, the conditions did not allow it now. They had to find a safe area to cancel the poisoning state first. Since there was a zombie handle on the front door of the building, they would go in through the window. The building should have windows. See if there are any unlocked windows that they can go in through. Damn it. Xiao Yao waved his fist in hatred and turned around. Although some windows on the first floor of this building were unlocked, each window was equipped with a burglar bar. If the burglar bar was destroyed, zombies would definitely be attracted. At this time, Xiao Yao and his team were at the back door of this building. There was a back door here, but it was locked from the inside and could not be opened at all. Xiao Yao and his team could definitely break the back door open if they smashed it hard, but the glass was broken, and this place would lose its meaning. The thick fog would rush in, and it would not be a safe area. What's the point of going in? Therefore, it could not be destroyed violently. Xiao Yao, why don't we hide in the car next to us first? Jinlian found a black car parked next to her, so she said to Xiao Yao. In the car. Xiao Yao looked in the direction Jinlian pointed, and saw a black car parked not far away. Xiao Yao got closer and saw the black film on the car's glass, so he couldn't see what was inside. I hope this car doesn't have an anti-theft alarm. Xiao Yao put his hand on the car body, and there was no abnormal sound. Then Xiao Yao gently patted the car, and there was still no abnormal sound. Then Xiao Yao was relieved and pulled the car door hard. Fuck, Xiao Yao couldn't help but swear. The car door was locked. Come to think of it, this black car looked very high-end, how could it not be locked? Missing unlocking device, can't unlock. When the line of sight saw the car door, a line of prompts appeared in the field of vision again. Where did this devil get the unlocking device? There was not even a prompt. Jinlian and Aziz's health points were running low. Xiao Yao hurriedly took out the remaining red ginseng soup and handed it to Jinlian. You two hurry up and drink this bottle of red ginseng soup. Each drink half a bottle, now there's only this bottle left. Okay. Jinlian saw Xiao Yao's nervous look and knew the seriousness of the problem. She glanced at Aziz. Az, you drink first. You drink first, Sister Jinlian. Aziz saw how cautious the two of them were about this bottle of drink. At this time, she also felt that this drink might not be simple, and might not be an ordinary drink, but she didn't want to drink it alone first. Don't waste time, Az, you drink half a bottle, hurry up and give half a bottle to Sister Jinlian, otherwise you will all turn into zombies soon. Xiao Yao felt a headache. It was already this time, and they were still pushing and pulling back. When Aziz heard that she would turn into a zombie, she was so scared that she hurriedly drank half a bottle from the bottle, but she didn't forget to leave half a bottle for Sister Jinlian. Brother Xiao Yao, what about you? Don't you need to drink? Xiao Yao ignored them. It was meaningless to get in after breaking the car window. The security window couldn't be broken for a while. Time waits for no one. Although he can still hold on, Jinlian and Aziz can't hold on for a few minutes. Watching them finish drinking, their health points were slowly increasing, but part of it was offset by the superimposed poisoning state, and the recovery was very little. Moreover, this bottle of red ginseng soup was shared. Xiao Yao made a quick decision. There was only one way, to force his way in from the main door of the building. Since there were zombies at the main door of the building, it meant that the door could be opened, at least there was someone at the door at that time. Jinlian, Az, there is no time. Listen to me now. We can only force our way in through the main gate. I will kill the zombies at the door later. You can take the opportunity to go in through the main gate. If the main gate is also locked, you must smash it open with a stick. Remember, stay 3 meters away from me to avoid being accidentally injured by me. Also, after I finish killing the zombies, drag me into the building as soon as possible. I may not be able to move. Xiao Yao said to Jinlian cautiously, Az, I know I can't have any hope in you, but this time, I must not make any mistakes, otherwise, we will really die here. I know, brother Xiao Yao, I promise. Aziz looked into Xiao Yao's eyes and nodded solemnly to promise. Xiao Yao, I know. Jinlian knew that Xiao Yao had a very powerful skill, but it would paralyze for 1 minute. This time, is he going to use this skill again? If he was not forced to do anything, who would be willing to use this rubbish skill? After all, Xiao Yao felt uncomfortable when his life was handed over to others, but at this time, there was no other way. Without further ado, let's go. Xiao Yao turned and walked along the side of the building towards the main entrance. As they got closer, Xiao Yao could already vaguely see the shadows of several zombies. Xiao Yao turned back and said to Jinlian and Aziz, I'll lead the zombies away, you take the opportunity to go into the building, be quick. Understood. Jinlian clenched her eyebrow stick. Understood. Aziz also imitated Jinlian and said understood. The two women held the eyebrow sticks in their hands, and they had never been so nervous as they were at this moment. Their palms were already sweating. Zombies, Fatty is here. Xiao Yao approached the zombies and shouted. The zombies at the door saw humans coming and excitedly stretched out their hands to express their warm welcome. Come on, zombies, chase me. If you catch up with me, I will let you have he. Thunderbolt whirlwind slash, start. Xiao Yao mocked with words, then activated the whirlwind slash and slowly moved towards the zombie group. After the skill was activated, the zombies could not get close to him, so Xiao Yao could only take the initiative to get close to him. The damage of 171923 was stacked layer by layer. After 3 seconds, the attack range of the Thunderbolt whirlwind slash that had been stacked to 3 layers reached the maximum. Xiao Yao was like a human chainsaw, cutting directly into the zombie group. The eyebrow-high stick was not an axe and could not cause bleeding. The stick swept across the zombies, causing them to stagger and almost fall. The eyebrow-high stick was originally longer than the axe. At this time, with the attack range bonus of the Thunderbolt whirlwind slash, Xiao Yao felt that the attack range of the Thunderbolt whirlwind slash could reach 4 meters, which made these zombies unable to get close at all. Xiao Yao quietly moved towards the direction of leaving the gate, attracting all the zombies at the door and letting Jinlian and the others in first. Seeing several zombies chasing him, Xiao Yao shouted, Jinlian, Ozzy, you go inside the building first. Got it. The answer came from the thick fog. There was no other way. At this time, it was beyond the field of vision. There was no other way. Roar. Roar. The roars of zombies came from all around, some close, some far away. The zombies behind him and the zombies at the school gate in front of him were particularly excited because Xiao Yao was closest to them. Sister Jinlian, hurry up, I can't hold on for much longer. Xiao Yao muttered while turning around. Because he was out of distance, he had no idea whether Sister Jinlian and the others had entered the building. Chapter 119 The Unshakable Weight. Xiao Yao spun and slowly moved away from the door to create an opportunity for Jinlian and the others. However, he couldn't go forward at this time. If he went forward, he would come into contact with the zombies at the school gate. Did he hear the excited roars of the zombies over there? If the two groups of zombies joined forces, he would really be reborn. He had to make a quick decision. Xiao Yao led the zombies away for a few meters, then quickly spun back and spun to the door of the building again. At this time, there was no trace of Jinlian and the others at the door. They should have entered the building. Jinlian, have you entered? Xiao Yao shouted at the top of his voice while spinning. He couldn't see them, so he could only shout. Even if he didn't shout, the zombies would move towards this side. At this time, he was already a bit like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water. We're in. The door can be opened directly. Come in too. Sister Jinlian's voice came from the building. Xiao Yao didn't dare to approach the door because the attack range of Thunderbolt Whirlwind Slash was too far. Xiao Yao was afraid of breaking the glass of the door. Since Jinlian and the others had already entered the building, there was no need to continue to deal with the zombies. Xiao Yao directly used his skills on the zombies. Most of the zombies around him were already at low health, and their health bars were cleared by the skills in a few hits. Experience plus 60 gold plus 60 poor blood essence plus 1 experience plus 59 gold plus 59 poor blood essence plus 1. A series of experience prompts appeared in the field of vision, and Xiao Yao's skills at this time could not be released because of the consumption of mental power. Sister Jinlian, help me. Xiao Yao shouted inside with his last strength, and then his body fell directly to the ground as if out of control. Fortunately, this time, he did not rest on the zombies. A vacuum zone appeared in the middle of the zombie corpse group, and Xiao Yao was lying in the middle. Hurry up, Sister Jinlian. Xiao Yao felt like every second was a year. Xiao Yao, we're here. Jinlian's figure finally appeared in his field of vision. Xiao Yao sighed softly. Sister Jinlian, you're finally here. Ask Azzy to come along. You can't drag me alone. I'm here. Azzy next to him stuck her head out. Who else could it be but Azzy? Hurry up, pull me into the building. Xiao Yao said impatiently, wishing he could move and run directly into the building. Azzy, help push Xiao Yao from behind. Xiao Yao, you really should lose weight. With your physique, I'm afraid the zombies will eat you to death in one meal. You fat pig, you're like a tank, who can push you? The two women pushed and pulled for a long time, but Xiao Yao's body was still motionless. Sisters, aren't you full? The zombies are almost here, why are you still marking time here? Are you practicing the spacewalk? Xiao Yao glanced at his own condition. It had been 10 seconds since the dizziness. Hurry up, the zombies are coming soon. He saw Z pushing his body and his feet slipping, but he was still practicing the spacewalk. I tried my best, but I really couldn't move it. Use a lever, physics has gone to your head, drag a zombie's body over and put it next to you, and the two of you use sticks to push me over. Wow, you're so talented. Stop flattering me, hurry up, or we'll all die. The two women followed Xiao Yao's advice, dragged a zombie's body to Xiao Yao's side, and stood side by side with him. Xiao Yao glanced at the zombies next to him. He didn't know whether the two women did it intentionally or deliberately. They turned the zombie's head towards him. This zombie was a female zombie. She wore white-framed glasses. One side of the glasses was full of cracks, and the other side was missing a lens. The zombie's nose was gone, revealing two deep holes. Her gums were exposed, revealing the uneven teeth inside. Dark red pus and blood were flowing from the corners of her mouth. Half of her face had begun to rot, and her clothes were tattered. It could be vaguely seen that it was a nightgown. This was the first time that a woman lay with Xiao Yao, but it was a female zombie. Xiao Yao shivered involuntarily, and his scalp went numb. At this time, Xiao Yao felt that even Ozzy, who was made up like a ghost, was better looking than the female zombie in front of him. Xiao Yao turned his head and stopped looking at the zombie's body. Use the stick to push me over. Yes, that's it. Xiao Yao instructed the two women to use the lever principle to push Xiao Yao over to the door. Xiao Yao flipped over like a sausage. Then the two women quickly moved the zombie corpse half a meter forward. Just like ants moving, the distance of 3 meters seemed to have passed for centuries. Roar. The outline of the zombies could be seen in the field of vision. The zombies found that the humans in front of them also accelerated a pace of movement excitedly. Although they were not running at this time, they were almost walking. Perhaps it was the roar of the zombies that made the two women burst out with unlimited power. When they reached the door, the two women dragged Xiao Yao into the door directly in front of them, and then closed the door. Ozzy also pinned the stick to the handle of the door. It was not seen that this little girl was also a little smart. The zombies almost followed them into the door, but at this time, they could only lie on the glass at the door, roaring excitedly at the humans in the glass, and slapping the glass at the door. The doors of public places are usually open to the outside, so that in case of fire, they can be pushed open directly from the inside to prevent the crowd from crowding at the door and being unable to open it inwards, causing a stampede. At this time, it was just a good opportunity for Xiao Yao and his friends, because the door was open to the outside, and many zombies were lying at the door, banging on it hard to get in. Fortunately, the door was not open in both directions. The two women were exhausted and lay on the ground gasping for breath. Ozzy said while panting, "I don't care. I want to take a break. Even if the zombies smashed the glass. I won't leave. I can't walk anymore. I don't have any strength left." Who? Jin Liang didn't say anything, but was also panting heavily. Dragging Xiao Yao all the way was like running a half marathon, which was simply killing her. Xiao Yao glanced at the glass at the door. It seemed that the explosion-proof glass was quite strong. In fact, there was a trick to hitting these explosion-proof glasses. You only needed to knock on a corner of the glass and the explosion-proof glass would burst instantly. However, if you hit it head-on, it would be difficult to break it at once. Fortunately, these zombies did not have this wisdom for the time being. Xiao Yao exhaled and glanced at the wall opposite. A blurry white sign stained with blood could still be seen as a hall. It seemed that this was the canteen, but it might be much more advanced than the canteen in his memory. This was a building. Xiao Yao glanced at his status bar again. The superimposed poisoning state had been cancelled. He glanced at Jinlian and Izzy again. There was no superimposed poisoning state either. This really made him feel relieved. Although there was a group of zombies lying on the glass next door, they could recover as long as they held on for another 30 seconds. This rubbish skill really could not be used casually. Use it once and stimulate it once. His little heart could not withstand the stimulation of continuous flipping. Squeak. Snap. A sound of metal friction came from the side. Oh my god. Xiao Yao looked in. Although the explosion-proof glass was strong, the door seemed not strong. He saw that the door frame had been deformed by the zombies' beatings, and it looked like the door was about to be pushed down. Chapter 120 Women's Bathhouse. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. Xiao Yao's eyes widened, staring at the remaining time of his dizziness. He never thought that every second would pass so slowly. Fortunately, the time that seemed like a year finally passed, and Xiao Yao finally recovered from the dizziness. The moment he recovered, Xiao Yao quickly got up from the ground. He didn't want to stay in this ghost place. Before the zombies broke in, Xiao Yao shouted, "Run!" He directly pulled Jinlian and Izzy, who were still sitting on the side, up and ran quickly to the west. The zombies at the door found that the delicious food in front of them actually ran away, and they slammed the door harder. "I'm too tired, I don't want to run anymore," Izzy complained while running. "No, as long as you don't get tired to death, run to death." Xiao Yao didn't want to argue with Izzy at this time. At the moment of life and death, there was no time to listen to their opinions. There were two intersections on the left and right in front of him. There was a body lying at the door on the left. There was no time to choose at this time. Xiao Yao and his friends ran directly to the intersection on the right. Squeak. Fortunately, the door directly opposite could be pushed open. Xiao Yao pushed the door open and ran in quickly. He ran into the room. There were some benches and some wardrobes in the room. Xiao Yao directly moved the whole iron wardrobe to block the door. It should be of some use. The sound of moving the iron cabinets was not small. I hope the zombies haven't destroyed the door yet. The door was blocked by several iron cabinets. Xiao Yao sat on the ground. The two girls had not recovered from running just now. Xiao Yao. Xiao Yao. Azzy called Xiao Yao tremblingly. What's wrong? Xiao Yao looked up at Azzy, only to see her pointing behind Xiao Yao with a horrified face. Xiao Yao instantly rushed forward, rolled over like a lazy donkey, turned around and found that there was a zombie behind him, and this zombie was only wearing pajamas. Fortunately, he didn't stupidly turn his head slowly to look over, otherwise he would be waiting for the kiss of this long-haired female zombie. Let's beat her to death with sticks. Although the other party was a female zombie wearing only pajamas, this was not the time to be gentle with her. She had to get rid of the zombie quickly before the zombies broke the door. Xiao Yao was the first one to hit the zombie on the head with a stick, -74. Hitting the zombie on the head with a stick did not knock the zombie unconscious, but excited her. There was no other way. Her mental power had been emptied, and she could not use any skills at this time. The 74 critical damage was only the damage of her ordinary attack, but it was only attacking the opponent's head weakness. Come and help. There's strength in numbers. Xiao Yao also has to rely on the strength of the two women. After all, no matter how small a mosquito is, it is still meat. One more person means more strength. Roar. The enraged female zombie in pajamas stretched out her hands and pounced on Xiao Yao. Her long shawl hair covered her face. Xiao Yao could not see what the other party looked like, nor did he want to see what the other party looked like. Seeing that the pajama-clad female zombie was about to pounce on him, bang! Xiao Yao kicked out, directly kicking the zombie in the stomach, and kicked the zombie back a few steps. At this time, Jinlian and Azzy had almost recovered, raised their sticks, and stood side by side with Xiao Yao. Hit. Xiao Yao finished speaking, raised his stick and hit the zombie's head, and the two women also hit the zombie's shoulders and body. It was easy for three people to hit the zombie's head at the same time and get stuck on each other's sticks, so Xiao Yao directly asked them to attack the zombie's body. Although attacking the zombie's body could not cause a critical hit, it was better than nothing. After a few rounds, the zombie who looked like Sadako was finally killed. The long hair of the pajamas female zombie was spread on the floor, and the dark red pus and blood spread on the ground along the hair, which looked very strange. It was really like Sadako crawling out of the TV. It seemed as if a cold wind was blowing towards him from all around. Xiao Yao couldn't help but shudder. Xiao Yao took a few clothes from the bench next to him and covered the zombie's body. It was strange to say that just covering it with some clothes, he was not so scared. But, what is this place? Why are these zombies wearing pajamas? Xiao Yao looked strange and glanced around the room. There were a few words written on the wall, save water. There was a circle of iron cabinets around. Each cabinet had a lock and a different number on it. There was a big shoe cabinet in the corner of the wall. There were a lot of pink slippers on the shoe cabinet, as well as some sport shoes and high heels for girls. This? Could it be? This is not a canteen, but a bathhouse? And it's a women's bathhouse. Xiao Yao was embarrassed. Fortunately, it was the end of the world, not a peaceful era. Otherwise, if he ran into the women's bathhouse, he would be arrested again. Big deal. Xiao Yao was silent for a while. He thought this was a canteen, and he could search for some food to see if he could use the canteen's kitchen to make some food to speed up his life recovery. However, this was actually a bathhouse, and there was nothing in the bathhouse. Crack. Bang. The explosion-proof glass at the entrance of the hall finally couldn't bear the weight and instantly shattered into countless rock sugar particles. Several zombies lying in the front hit nothing at the moment the door broke and fell to the ground. They wanted to get up, but were stepped on by the zombies behind them. Just as they were about to get up, they were stepped on by the zombies behind them. In this way, the zombies who knocked on the door first had their health points reduced by half. Oh no, the door is broken. Xiao Yao heard the sound of glass breaking, and it was most likely that the door had been breached. Don't make a sound. Xiao Yao made a gesture to silence the two girls. Jinlian and Azzy also nodded desperately to show that they understood, and Azzy even covered her mouth with her hand. Check the surroundings first. If this is a female bathhouse, there shouldn't be only one zombie. Xiao Yao quietly pointed to a room inside, with bloody handprints on the glass of the door. Click. Click. Xiao Yao twisted a few times. The door was locked from the inside. Never mind. Even if there were zombies, they would not open the door. Fortunately, the door was locked. Otherwise, Xiao Yao really did not know whether he would watch the pictures that needed to be censored the moment he opened the door or not. After all, This was the place for bathing. Since the door was locked, Xiao Yao did not study it anymore. He restored his health first. Xiao Yao glanced at the health of Jinlian and Izzy. At this time, their health was very low and very dangerous. Fortunately, Jinlian was wearing a nurse's uniform and could restore 1 health point per minute, but Izzy could not restore her health. He still had 135 health points. He would let Izzy restore her health first. Xiao Yao took off his jade bracelet and jade ring, took Ozzy's hand, and put them on her directly, not caring about Ozzy's already red face. These 2 pieces of equipment can restore health points. You should restore the lost health points first. Xiao Yao ignored Ozzy's puzzled expression. Health points? I feel normal. Listen to me, you will be poisoned in the thick fog, and the longer you stay, the more blood you lose. You still have 25 drops of health points. What should I do? Am I going to die? Ozzy was so scared when she heard that she only had 25 health points left that she grabbed Xiao Yao's arm directly, fearing that she would die in the next second. Don't be afraid, these 2 pieces of equipment can restore your health. Xiao Yao gently patted Ozzy's hand, signaling her not to be afraid. What is this? My jade ring. Ozzy raised her hand and looked at the jade ring that Xiao Yao forced to wear on her finger. It was from her own small treasury, and it was stolen from her mother. Unexpectedly, this jade ring has this function. What about you and Sister Jinlian? What should we do? At this time, Ozzy finally understood that it mattered to others, and didn't say stupid things like it's mine, you have to give it back to me. Sister Jinlian's nurse uniform can restore 1 life point per minute, and I have a higher life value, so I can hold on for a while. Xiao Yao also decided to tell Jinlian and Ozzy some unimportant things. After all, they had to survive together. If they knew a lot of secrets, it would be difficult to explain them clearly. They just had to keep the secrets of the mobile phone system secret. After all, he had just released the Thunderbolt Whirlwind Slash, and fortunately, the 2 of them did not give up on him, otherwise they would run away and he would be staring blankly. This return of favors can be regarded as Xiao Yao's initial acceptance of these 2 companions. After all, up to now, they were not bad people. Chapter 121, A Small Show. It's so magical. This jade ring can also restore health points. Ozzy gently stroked the jade ring on her hand. But, how come I didn't know? Xiao Yao, how did you know? In my eyes, the whole world is digitized. Xiao Yao lied again. Some things can be said, some things can't be said. Humph, I don't believe it. Ozzy grumbled, it must be the problem with your glasses. You originally wore transparent glasses, and now you have changed to frog eye glasses. Do you think I'm stupid? Show me your glasses, and I'll believe you. Then, here you go. Xiao Yao didn't pretend, and directly took off the frog eye glasses and handed them to Ozzy. You dare to give it to me? Aren't you afraid that I will snatch it away? Ozzy didn't hesitate to take it and put it on. It seems that there is nothing special about it. You are so arrogant to wear frog glasses in this kind of weather. Here you go. Ozzy took off the frog glasses and handed them to Xiao Yao. If it wasn't a problem with the glasses, then it might be a problem with the eyes. You said that the world you see with your eyes is all digitized. Yes. Xiao Yao took the frog glasses and put them on. It was strange that Ozzy could see that there was something wrong with the glasses. Xiao Yao had turned off the reconnaissance skill when he handed it to Ozzy. The reconnaissance glasses with the skill turned off were just ordinary frog glasses. Jinlian knew some more secrets. She was confused at this time. After all, Xiao Yao could also store and retrieve things from the glasses. If these glasses were really just frog glasses, how could they have such magical effects? Well, then tell me, what kind of data is there? Ozzy asked without giving up. Not a lot. For example, your health is 122, and Sister Jinlian's is 127. The stick we have is 20-25 attacks. Attack? What do you mean? It means taking this stick and hitting your head. Hit it 4 times and you'll be dead. So scary. So, you'd better be careful in the future. Don't hit others easily. This can kill people. I'll be careful. This is too magical. I've decided, Brother Xiao Yao, I'll follow you from now on. Ozzy took a look at her stick and didn't find anything magical. But what Xiao Yao said seemed to be right. Did they use sticks to kill zombies that look scary? Then Brother Xiao Yao, how many health points do you have? Why, Do you want to know how many hits it takes to kill me? Xiao Yao would not tell her how many health points he had, because it would scare them to death. Well, just tell me, brother Xiao Yao, please. Ozzy acted like a rogue and hugged Xiao Yao's arm and acted like a spoiled child. Stop. Stop. Isn't it enough for me to tell you? Forget it. Xiao Yao, who has never had a girlfriend, has no resistance to this trick. After all, he had only been dating for less than a day before his rebirth. Tell me, how many health points do you have? Well, about 300 health points. Why do you have so many? Well, it mainly depends on who has more meat, and who has more health points. Is that so? Ozzy looked confused. More meat means more health points. Ozzy glanced up and down at Xiao Yao's body. However, Xiao Yao's physique is indeed meaty. Could it be that Xiao Yao is right? Well, that's it. Then from now on, I'm going to get fat too. I'm going to get fatter than you. Ahem. Well, there's no need for you to get fat. Getting fat has many disadvantages. How can it be disadvantageous? I also want to have more than 300 health points like you. I only have 122 health points, which is not enough for 4 sticks. In fact, getting fat may make you die faster. Just like today, if I need help from others, 2 people can't drag me. Can you imagine how dangerous it is? Yet, forget it. I'd better not be as fat as you, like a pig. Zombies need to eat 3 meals a day. Xiao Yao touched his head. He actually said that his fatness was due to high health points. In fact, there are many equipment that can increase health points. For example, the nurse uniform worn by Sister Jinlian and the training shoes you wear can increase 10 health points. That's amazing, brother Xiao Yao. Then let's find more advanced equipment in the future so that we won't be afraid of zombies. By the way, since you can see our health points, can you see the health points of zombies? Of course I can see it. Then how many health points do the zombies have? When Ozzy asked this, Sister Jinlian also looked at Xiao Yao expectantly. After all, the questions Ozzy asked were actually what she wanted to ask, but she thought more about it. Everyone has their own secrets. Asking too many questions about other people's secrets will inevitably cause others to be disgusted. So even if she has a lot of questions to ask, she won't ask. But Ozzy is different. Ozzy asks when she wants to ask, without thinking at all. Jinlian also happens to understand them. After all, knowing other people's secrets and talking about other people's gossip is always the most interesting. You should be mentally prepared to tell you that the most common zombies now have a health point of more than 600. Ozzy opened her mouth wide. So many. How could it be? How could zombies have so many health points? Jinlian also looked solemn. After all, zombies were all humans before. With the same health points, why did they become more numerous? Because of the thick fog. Thick fog. Yes, thick fog is poison to us, but a great tonic for zombies. The longer they stay in the thick fog, the stronger they become, and the harder they are to deal with. With 600 health points, you need to hit the zombie 30 times with a stick. Oh my god, 30 hits? I'm so tired. Ozzy counted on her fingers to figure out how many hits it would take to kill a zombie, and found that even if she used her hands and feet, it was not enough. So, we need the power of a team. It takes 30 hits for one of us to kill a zombie, but for the 3 of us, each of us only needs to hit 10 times to kill a zombie. Oh, so it's not that hard to kill. For a lone zombie, we can attack directly, but once the zombies gather in groups, we can only run away. Then can't we become stronger? If the zombies keep getting stronger, then we won't need more than 30 hits in the future, maybe 300 hits? 300 hits? We will be exhausted to death. At present, it seems that we can't become stronger. Our only way is to search for more powerful weapons to deal with zombies. Xiao Yao didn't say that he could upgrade. Ordinary humans really can't upgrade. It would be great if I had a gun, and I could shoot all these monsters to death. Gun. The speaker didn't mean it, but the listener took it to heart. Ozzy's words reminded Xiao Yao that since ordinary sticks can cause such high damage to zombies, wouldn't it be faster to use a gun to resolve the battle? Chapter 122 Crossdresser. Xiao Yao raised his head and looked into the distance. Guns are only available in the police station and the army. China is not like developed countries like the United States. The public security here is very strict. It is impossible for ordinary people to get guns in their lifetime. Not only can they get them, but they can't even think about it. So Xiao Yao had never considered the idea of killing zombies with guns some time ago. At this time, AZ's words reminded Xiao Yao that since it was the end of the world, it should not be illegal to go to the police station to get a few guns to use. If there is no law, how can there be a crime? Let's take a break and go to the supermarket as soon as our health points are restored. Otherwise, when our physical strength is exhausted, we can only sit and wait to die. Az, your health points have been fully restored. Give me the bracelets and rings, and I will restore my health points. Great, have I fully restored them? Az waved her fists a few times. It seems that my whole body is full of strength. Xiao Yao shook his head. This was purely a psychological effect. He took off the bracelet and ring, and put on his equipment. His health points began to recover slowly. There was no other way. At this moment, Xiao Yao was the same as Sister Jinlian. Both recovered 1 health point per minute. Sister Jinlian had recovered to 55 health points, and he himself had dropped to 55 health points due to blood loss. Now, he was on the same starting line as Sister Jinlian. At this speed, Sister Jinlian would need 72 minutes to fully recover, while he would need 258 minutes, more than 4 hours. He was afraid that the mission to the supermarket would have failed long ago. If he didn't go to the supermarket tonight, his physical strength would certainly not be restored, and he would have no energy to rush to the supermarket tomorrow. What's more, there were already wandering zombies in the hall. If they found this place and broke through this door, there would be nowhere to escape. When Xiao Yao thought of this, he was entangled. Let's let Sister Jinlian recover her health first. Even if I don't recover my health by then, the worst that can happen is that I will have the same health as them. Don't forget that even if I don't recover my health, at most I will have 127 more health than Sister Jinlian. Well, when Sister Jinlian recovers her health, we will go to the supermarket. The mission will take more than 2 hours. Excluding the time for recovering health, there may only be 1 hour left. It seems that this mission is a bit suspenseful. You guys take a rest here and try to save your energy. I'll go see if there's any food in the cabinets around. Okay. Jinlian and Aziz sat on a bench with some scattered clothes next to them. I'll see if there are any good things in these clothes. Aziz saw a few clothes next to her, so she went over to pick up the clothes and searched the pockets of the clothes. Yeah, it's a piece of chocolate. After groping for a while, Az took out a piece of Defu chocolate from it and shouted happily. Keep your voice down. Xiao Yao really wanted to hit Az with a stick. Are you afraid that the zombies outside don't know there are people inside? Fortunately, the window was not transparent, and Az's shouting was not very loud, otherwise the zombies would be able to see the people in the room directly, and they would have been unable to hold back and run in. At this time, the hall was already crowded with zombies, but they had lost track of Xiao Yao and the others, and were wandering back and forth lazily as if they were in standby mode. Next door was the men's bathhouse, and the door had been broken long ago. The zombies inside and outside had now joined forces in victory. Fortunately, Xiao Yao had just run to the women's bathhouse on the right, otherwise he would have been overwhelmed by the zombies attacking from the front and back. You know, without mental strength, the ultimate move would have been impossible to release. Ozzy stuck out her tongue, but she did not forget to happily raise the chocolate in her hand. Xiao Yao nodded, and he understood. All the cabinets here were locked, and a line of prompts appeared in all the cabinets when Xiao Yao was observing. The lock is missing, so it can't be opened. Xiao Yao said that he didn't know where to get the lock. But if he destroyed the cabinet violently at this time, it would be a dead end. There might be zombies at the door, waiting for Xiao Yao to make a sound. It would be perfect if there was a lock. But what on earth should he do with this damn lock? Now Xiao Yao was standing next to the only open cabinet. Inside was a pink coat. Xiao Yao took out the coat. There was also a pink leather bag in the cabinet. He didn't know what was in it. He would look at the pockets of the clothes first. This should belong to the female zombie in pajamas just now. She just turned into a zombie before she had time to put it on. His vision was focused, and a message appeared in his vision. Limited edition goose down coat, HP plus 100, HP recovery plus 2/minute. Xiao Yao rubbed his eyes hard and confirmed the properties of the clothes again. Health plus 100? Health recovery plus 2/minute? Health recovery is acceptable, but this health increase, is it sure not health plus 10? After Xiao Yao confirmed again and again, Xiao Yao pinched his arm again. It was very painful, proving that the properties of this jacket were real. Xiao Yao took off the training jacket directly and put on this pink women's limited edition goose down jacket. It took some effort to put on the jacket because it was really tight. Fortunately, the jacket was relatively fat, otherwise, with Xiao Yao's body, he would not be able to put it on even if it was torn. He tried his best to zip up but failed. Xiao Yao simply didn't zip up his jacket and just opened his arms, then couldn't wait to glance at his personal status. Xiao Yao, race, human level. 13 combat power. 86 health. 60/402, each level increases 10 health points. Mental power. 132/132, each level increases 1 mental power point. Hunger. 5/100, when hunger is 0, 1 health is lost per minute. Attack. 40 to 45 defense. 20 health regeneration. 8/minute strength. 20, each 1 point of strength increases health by 1 and attack by 1. Agility. 15 intelligence. 26, every 1 point of intelligence increases mental strength by 1. Experience. 9397/40960. Xiao Yao's eyes widened. The attribute bonus of this coat worked. His life value has exceeded 400, which is completely unimaginable. With a life recovery of this down coat, Xiao Yao can already recover 3 lives per minute. When Sister Jinlian's life is fully recovered, his life value can be restored to 261. With this down coat, the chance of survival will be greatly increased. Xiao Yao couldn't help but put his face on this down coat. It was furry and had a very fragrant smell. I love you so much, my baby down coat. Sister Jinlian, look at Xiao Yao. Ozzy quietly pulled Sister Jinlian's arm and pointed at Xiao Yao, who had his back to them. Jinlian raised her head and looked in the direction that he pointed, only to see that Xiao Yao was wearing a woman's down jacket, which was stretched very full. Jinlian was afraid that this beautiful down jacket would be torn at the next moment. Xiao Yao, you have this kind of hobby? Fetish? Thinking of this, Jinlian couldn't help but shudder. So disgusting, I will never wear pink clothes again. Azzy couldn't help but shiver, and tighten the bulky training jacket on her body, as if this bulky training jacket could no longer block the cold in the air. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123, 2 Girls Against the Wall? Xiao Yao put his face on the furry scarf, still immersed in the furry scarf and enjoying it, but the 2 women behind him quietly stepped back a few steps. Great, with this down jacket, my chances of survival will be greatly increased. Xiao Yao stroked the down jacket and shook his body left and right. Well, it's just a little thin, a little uncomfortable. Moreover, the color is pink, it's a bit eye-catching when worn outside. After struggling for a long time, Xiao Yao made a resolute decision. It's others' eyes that are irritating, but it's none of his business. I just like pink down jackets. What's wrong? Is it not okay? Thinking of this, Xiao Yao was not so entangled. After all, this down jacket increases the life value by 100, which is equivalent to an ordinary person's life. Although it only increases the life value by 100 when he wears it, it is equivalent to an extra life for ordinary people. Huh? Why do I feel like there are some unfriendly eyes staring at me? Xiao Yao slowly turned around and met the flustered eyes of Jinlian and Azzy. Then he found that Jinlian and Azzy hurriedly avoided his gaze and each lowered their heads to play with their fingers. Xiao Yao was embarrassed. He was afraid that they would misunderstand him if he dressed like this. He was too lazy to explain and searched the things in this cabinet first. There was also a pink leather bag here. The down jacket was so awesome. What could the leather bag have? Xiao Yao opened the leather bag. What caught his eye was a brown women's long wallet with a few crooked English letters on the wallet. LV? What brand is this? Xiao Yao didn't bother to care and just opened the button. There was a stack of cash inside. Xiao Yao counted it. It was not a small amount. He estimated that there were several thousand. Then there were some bank cards and an ID card. The ID card showed a little girl with long hair. She was quite distinctive. Xiao Yao muttered, it's a pity that she turned into a zombie. If she had met me, fatty, earlier, she might have survived. The bank card was of no use now. So Xiao Yao only took out the cash from it and put the wallet directly into his purse. There were some messy cosmetics inside. Xiao Yao felt a little overwhelmed when he looked through these things. What's the use of cosmetics now since he doesn't wear makeup? By the way, Xiao Yao turned his head to look at Izzy, and the two women lowered their heads and played with their fingers in panic. You can give them to Izzy. She is a makeup fanatic. She should like these cosmetics. This stuff is not food. The shelf life is not that short. There are several compartments in the bag, and a tablet is placed in the innermost one. Unfortunately, it has no power at this time. There is also a small notebook, and I don't know what is recorded in it. There is nothing in it. Oh, by the way, there are a few pockets on the outside. Xiao Yao, let's go through them too. Huh? There were some jewelry in the outermost pocket, a diamond necklace, 2 heart-shaped earrings, and a diamond ring. It seems that these were taken off by the girl when she took a bath and placed in this cabinet. Diamond necklace, plus 10 mental power, plus 2 mental power recovery per minute. Oh my god, Xiao Yao widened his eyes again. This day-to-day excitement was too exciting. This was the second time he found equipment that increased mental power recovery. The first time was before his rebirth, and this was the first piece of equipment that increased mental power and mental power recovery after his rebirth. Although it was only plus 2 mental power per minute, it was perfect. This way, he didn't have to rely on sleeping all night to recover his mental power. His 132 mental power could be fully recovered in just 1 hour. Perfect. Diamond ring, plus 5 mental power, plus 1 mental power recovery per minute. Nice. This was equivalent to recovering 3 per minute, and it took 44 minutes to fully recover mental power. Diamond ring, plus 5 mental power, plus 1 mental power recovery per minute. Earrings. Xiao Yao held the heart-shaped earrings in his hand in confusion, and glanced at his equipment bar again. It seemed that there was no place to equip earrings. How could he equip this thing? Do I have to pierce my ears? Let's talk about it later. I don't know how to wear these earrings for now. Xiao Yao prepared to put on these diamond equipment first. Forget it, let Sister Jinlian help me change the necklace. Xiao Yao found that his movements were a bit limited when he put on this down jacket. Now he couldn't take off the gold necklace on his neck smoothly. Xiao Yao turned and walked towards Sister Jinlian. Jinlian and Izzy took a few steps back at the same time. Don't go. Help me put on the necklace. Xiao Yao walked towards the two women with a diamond necklace in his hand. The two women shook their heads desperately and didn't dare to speak, for fear that the noise would attract zombies. With no way to retreat, the two women were forced by Xiao Yao to the door. This was not the door they came in through, but the door that was locked from the inside. Xiao Yao approached them and stretched out his hand. It was considered a waldong, but now there were 2 girls. Waldong 2 girls? No. Xiao Yao had no such idea at all. He just wanted Jinlian to help him put on the diamond necklace. What are you thinking? Do you think I have some weird hobby? Ozzy nodded desperately, and Jinlian looked as if she agreed. To tell you the truth, this dress can increase your health points, otherwise I wouldn't wear it. It squeezes me so hard that I have trouble breathing. Xiao Yao twisted his body. Really? Jinlian moved her mouth and asked in a low voice. Of course, I'll tell you quietly, this dress increases your health points by 100. Xiao Yao quietly approached Ozzy's ear and whispered. Now he could only whisper, otherwise the zombies might overhear. Ah! Ozzy exclaimed and immediately covered her mouth. I want to wear it too. I want to wear it too. No, this dress has another function. It can restore life, which is exactly what I need now. HMPH, you big pervert, I want to wear it too. You're wearing a girl's clothes, aren't you a pervert? Give it to me now. Ozzy heard Xiao Yao say that down jackets can increase life points, and then she knew why Xiao Yao wore this lady's down jacket 100 life points, but it's equivalent to having 1 more life. No, she must snatch it. Don't pull it, it's useless if you tear it. Xiao Yao pulled Ozzy's hand away. I need to kill zombies. I'll wear this dress for now, and I'll give it to you as soon as I find a better one, okay? HMPH, you said, you must give me the clothes when you find a better one. Ozzy stopped pulling when she heard Xiao Yao say that he would give it to her, for fear of tearing the pink down jacket, as if the clothes had become hers now, but this pink color was the color she hated the most. Forget it, life points are more important. As if to protest, Ozzy glanced at Sister Jinlian, as if to say, I've reserved this dress, don't try to snatch it from me. Jinlian wanted the clothes because they increased her health, but she didn't want the color. Besides, Ozzy had already reserved it, so she wouldn't compete with her. Ozzy, don't compete with Xiao Yao for it. When Xiao Yao gets better equipment, this dress will definitely be yours. No one will compete with you. But now, only when Xiao Yao becomes stronger can we have hope of survival. Let Xiao Yao wear this dress first. Jinlian was like a hostess, talking to Ozzy, and completely pulled Ozzy's position down a little bit. Bang! Ah! The two women screamed uncontrollably at the same time, because at this moment, a hand suddenly appeared on the locked door. The nails of this hand were particularly long, scraping on the glass, squeaking, and the harsh sound was extremely uncomfortable. Roar! Bang! 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 The zombies outside the door became extremely excited when they heard the scream of the woman in the house. They slammed the door hard. The window of this door was just ordinary glass, which was shattered by the zombies in a few hits. But after the glass was broken, there was a wall of metal cabinets in front of the zombies. The zombies slammed the metal cabinets again. Although Xiao Yao blocked a few cabinets and benches, these obstacles were of no use. They could only slow down the speed. It was only a matter of time before the zombies came in. Chapter 124 Promise to Ozzy. Bang! Bang! There were several knocks on the door behind him. He saw several hands appearing on the door behind him. That is to say, there was more than one zombie in the women's bathhouse behind him. Their fingernails were abnormally long, scratching the glass and making it squeak, irritating the nerves of Xiao Yao and the other three. Ah! Ah! Two women screamed in succession. They were the screams of Jinlian and Ozzy. Although the door was opaque, the faces of several women could be vaguely seen on the door. Their faces were particularly long, even as long as a keyboard. The two women were so scared that they hugged Xiao Yao directly. At this time, Xiao Yao hugged her left and right. It should have been a very erotic thing, but Xiao Yao didn't have a single evil thought, because they were now surrounded. The door to go out was blocked by zombies. There were zombies on the doors inside the women's bathhouse. There was no way to go. Is it really that difficult to survive? Either rush out and fight the zombies outside, or break through the door of the women's bathhouse and go inside. There are countless zombies outside, and there is no telling how many zombies are inside the women's bathhouse. Moreover, this is most likely a dead end. No. Xiao Yao looked at the light coming from behind the iron cabinet. Although this was a women's bathhouse, there were windows when the building was designed. It was just blocked by these iron cabinets. Xiao Yao resolutely decided to run through the window. The only light coming from outside the window became Xiao Yao's only way out in the darkness. Run through the window. After Xiao Yao finished speaking, he quickly ran towards the iron cabinet with the light and moved two iron cabinets with great effort. Sure enough, there was a window behind the iron cabinet, but there was a security window outside the window. At this time, Xiao Yao no longer cared whether it would make noise. He pulled open the glass on the window, grabbed both sides of the window, stretched out his right foot, and kicked the security window hard. Bang! 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 The security window was originally a hollow round pipe. After a few kicks, it was deformed by Xiao Yao's kick. It works. Xiao Yao saw that the security window could be deformed by kicking, so he increased the speed of kicking the security window and continued to kick it hard a few more times. Catcha! The side of the security window connected to the wall was kicked open, and the entire security window hung on one side. Xiao Yao bent it to the other side, leaving a gap that could accommodate one person to pass through. The iron sheet steel pipe that had been kicked was cracked by Xiao Yao. I'll go down first, I'll catch you outside, and you guys will come out soon. Xiao Yao turned around and said to Jinlian and Ozzy, and then he jumped over the windowsill and jumped out. The windowsill was not very high, so even if two girls jumped down, it shouldn't be a big problem. Xiao Yao turned around and reached out to catch Jinlian. Jinlian, come out quickly, I'll catch you. Okay. The security window was bent to one side, and Xiao Yao's body could come out, not to mention that Jinlian's body was smaller than Xiao Yao. Jinlian held Xiao Yao's hand, stepped onto the windowsill, and then threw herself on Xiao Yao. Xiao Yao put Jinlian aside. Ozzy, you hurry up too. Xiao Yao continued to catch Ozzy inside. I'm coming. Ozzy also climbed onto the windowsill and held Xiao Yao's outstretched hands. Plop. There was a sound of a metal cabinet being pushed down in the house. Ozzy looked back and saw that the metal cabinet locking the door was pushed down by the zombies. When several zombies found Ozzy on the windowsill, they were even more excited and reached out to grab her. Some of them were even naked, like gangsters. Catcha! The glass door in the women's bathhouse was also smashed by the zombies inside. Several naked female zombies lay on the glass door. The glass shards on the door scratched their skin and dark red pus and blood flowed out of their bodies. However, they seemed not to be afraid of pain and still desperately grabbed towards Ozzy. What was more terrifying was that these female zombies had very long faces and their chins were as sharp as the tip of a knife. Ah! Ozzy screamed again in fear and stumbled and pounced directly on Xiao Yao, who was outside. Hiss! Then Ozzy took a breath of cold air. What's wrong? Xiao Yao asked hurriedly. My leg is stuck. Fuck! Xiao Yao saw that Ozzy's leg was stuck in the security window. A cracked iron pipe of the security window was inserted into Ozzy's leg, and the bright red blood stained Ozzy's pants. Roar! 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 The smell of blood made the zombies more excited. The speed of walking was comparable to the speed of race walking. It seemed that these zombies were about to learn to run. SHH. Xiao Yao directly closed the window. Although the glass could not stop the zombies, it was better to stop them for a while. Pa pa pa. Not long after the window was closed, the zombie army rushed over and slapped the window desperately, as if protesting Xiao Yao's exclusive enjoyment of the delicious blood. Ah! Perhaps it was the power that broke out at the critical moment. Xiao Yao used all his strength in his right hand to pull down the security window, and the security window was pulled down. Ah! Pulling the security window involved the wound on Ozzy's leg, and a burst of pain instantly spread throughout Ozzy's body. Bear it for a moment. Xiao Yao looked at Ozzy, who nodded and gritted her teeth. Xiao Yao put Ozzy on the ground and turned over the security window. The cut of the iron pipe was inserted into Ozzy's leg. He didn't know how deep it was inserted, but Xiao Yao couldn't think too much at this time. Bear it for a moment, I'll pull it out, otherwise we can't run away. Well, Xiao Yao, don't worry, I can bear it. Ozzy didn't look at Xiao Yao or her legs, and buried her face in Sister Jinlian's arms. Beads of sweat had already seeped out of her forehead. Her body was shaking involuntarily, and her face was pale. Pudgy. Xiao Yao directly pulled out the iron steel pipe that was inserted into Ozzy's leg. Ah! Ozzy's heart-wrenching scream was heard, and then Ozzy bit her clothes desperately, her teeth chattering, and she couldn't shout. If the zombies are called, it's not just a matter of sticking a steel pipe in the leg. Xiao Yao glanced at it, and there was still a trace of flesh and blood on the steel pipe. Xiao Yao quickly pulled off the towel and bandaged Ozzy's leg first, otherwise such a big hole would bleed to death. Unexpectedly, Ozzy was still so strong. Crack! The glass couldn't withstand the beating of the zombies and had already broken. The zombies behind squeezed the zombies in front to lie on the windowsill, and they were about to be squeezed out. Hurry up, Ozzy, I'll carry you. Xiao Yao directly took Ozzy's hand. Sister Jinlian, give it a push. Hiss. The slightest movement of Ozzy's legs was painful, not to mention Xiao Yao's completely rude action, but Ozzy just bit her lips tightly. Her lips were already bitten, and blood dripped onto Xiao Yao's back. Ozzy's fingers tightly grasped Xiao Yao's arm, and her face was buried in Xiao Yao's back. Am I going to die? Ozzy, don't talk nonsense, hold it, we will go to a safe place soon. Xiao Yao didn't care that Ozzy had pinched his arm so hard that it hurt, so he let her pinch it, at least to prove that she still had strength. Xiao Yao ran north desperately. No matter what the first place he encountered in the north was, it would not be worse than the group of zombies behind him. Xiao Yao, brother. Ozzy's voice came from behind, and the strength of the fingers pinching his arm was getting slower and slower. Hold on, Ozzy, I swear I will definitely take you to a safe place, this is my promise, believe me. I believe in you, Xiao Yao, brother. Chapter 125 Hope or Despair. Xiao Yao carried Ozzy on his back and ran north from the outside of the women's bathhouse. Sister Jinlian followed Xiao Yao and ran together. The zombies on the windows of the women's bathhouse screamed desperately, but they had no IQ and didn't know how to lie on the windows, so a group of zombies were squeezed on the windowsill, but they couldn't jump out of the window to chase Xiao Yao and his friends. More and more zombies were attracted by the bloody smell on the security windows and squeezed forward desperately, fearing that they would miss the delicious blood if they were a second late. Plop! Finally, a zombie squeezed in the front fell off the window by the zombies behind. This zombie did not chase Xiao Yao and his friends, but quickly lay on the ground and sucked the security window stained with Aziz's blood. The iron pipe of the security window pierced the zombie's tongue, which was already rotten, but it didn't stop him from sucking. The zombies behind the window saw that this zombie sucked the delicious blood and became even crazier. Azzy, you are not allowed to sleep. Xiao Yao ran forward desperately. He could feel that the hand of Azzy pinching his arm from behind was getting weaker and weaker. Azzy's strength was draining away. Azzy, you are not allowed to sleep. I still need you to cut my hair. You are not allowed to sleep, Azzy, do you hear me? Xiao Yao talked to Azzy while running. He couldn't let Azzy fall asleep at this time. Who knew if she would become a zombie? Only by talking could he be sure that she was still alive. Xiao Yao, brother, I am not asleep. Azzy lay on Xiao Yao's back and a weak voice came. Azzy was still alive. Xiao Yao ran faster. Don't sleep. I still need you to cut my hair. Xiao Yao was talking to Azzy while running madly to the north. He could vaguely see a tall building in front of him. He didn't know what the building was. Xiao Yao was already too tired from running. He was hungry, exhausted, and his health had not recovered much. Xiao Yao was already a little exhausted. No matter where the front was, he had no more health to go anywhere else. Whether it was hell or heaven, he could only obey the arrangement of fate. Xiao Yao, brother, actually, I don't know how to cut hair at all. Azzy muttered to herself, unable to make a sound. Xiao Yao didn't hear what Azzy said at all. He just ran forward desperately, not caring whether there were zombies on the road. Jinlian desperately followed Xiao Yao's footsteps. Because of fear and hunger, Jinlian's eyes were now only focused on Xiao Yao's back. She no longer cared about anything else. Now, only faith was left to support Jinlian to move her legs like a machine to follow Xiao Yao. If Xiao Yao fell, Jinlian's faith would collapse instantly. Unconsciously, Xiao Yao had become Jinlian's hope to live. As they got closer, Xiao Yao finally arrived in front of the building. The two words on the huge sign next to the building rekindled Xiao Yao's hope of living. Although those two words were not hope, they were far more practical than hope, because going into this building meant that he could get red ginseng soup. That's right, those two words were supermarket. Supermarket. How did the supermarket move here, and why was it under a building? No matter what, it seems that God will not let me go. Azzy, don't sleep, there's a supermarket ahead, we've got a supermarket. Sister Jinlian, there's a supermarket ahead, we're saved. Xiao Yao cried with joy. It seemed that he was not destined to die. There was hope when he got to the supermarket. The red ginseng soup could prolong Azzy's life. Even if he gave her all 20 bottles, Xiao Yao would not feel sorry. Unknowingly, Azzy, this little gangster, had become a part of Xiao Yao's life, a little gangster who couldn't bear to watch her die. Azzy didn't respond to Xiao Yao. She didn't listen to Xiao Yao. She had fallen asleep at this time. Maybe she wouldn't feel any pain when she fell asleep. Really? That's great. Jinlian responded weakly. If it wasn't for Xiao Yao, she would have given up long ago. Fortunately, she still had a rubber stick in her hand. At this time, this stick became Sister Jinlian's crutches, supporting her from falling down. As they got closer, Xiao Yao and the others finally arrived at the entrance of the supermarket, and Xiao Yao excitedly pushed directly towards the door of the supermarket. The door shook for a moment, but did not open. Xiao Yao looked over and saw that the door was locked from the inside. It was a chain-like lock that was wrapped around the handle of the supermarket several times. The supermarket is locked. Xiao Yao frowned and leaned over the glass of the supermarket door to look inside. The lock meant that there were people inside. Regardless of whether they were zombies now, at least they were living people before. Is there anyone? Open the door. Xiao Yao knocked on the door. He forgot that the survivors inside might be afraid that Xiao Yao and his friends were zombies, so no one dared to open the door. So Xiao Yao said a few words to prove that he was alive. If there were zombies, they would definitely pounce on him. If there were survivors, they would help open the door after hearing him speak. Is there anyone? Open the door. We are human beings. I am a freshman in this school. Please help open the door. Xiao Yao continued to speak. Xiao Yao, who was leaning over the car window, found that several people's heads quietly appeared in the supermarket. They hid behind the supermarket shelves and carefully poked their heads out, looking at Xiao Yao outside the window, but did not speak. Please, open the door quickly, My friend is injured and needs treatment. Xiao Yao continued to beg. Go away, stop shouting, or you'll attract zombies. A man's voice came from inside. Please open the door, my friend really needs treatment. Go away, stop shouting, we don't have any medicine here, we can't save your friend. Let's open the door. We are all human beings. We should help each other now. Shut up. If he comes in, there will be one more mouth. What's more, there are 3 people on the other side. What will they eat? Yours? We should share some of our food with him. Mine? Or yours? The one who opened the door did not speak. He could let them in, but he decided to keep silent about sharing his food. This was just a bitch who was just a saint in words. If she really wanted to help, she would definitely run faster than anyone else. Please, open the door. Xiao Yao tiredly slapped the door of the supermarket. He was hungry, tired, his health was too low, and he was poisoned. At this time, Xiao Yao was very tired and had no strength to fight the zombies. He didn't have much strength to slap the door. If it weren't for the supermarket in front of him that gave him hope, Xiao Yao would have collapsed on the ground. But, why? Why didn't the people in the supermarket open the door? They were all human beings, and he was also a human being. Why didn't they save him? Why? Exclamation mark. Why give yourself hope and despair? Exclamation mark. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.